Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. We are here with part 2 of the tarot readings. We have quite a bit to go through still. Let me just clear this all out. And I'm gonna probably go through this as people reappear in my chat. Welcome, Mermaid Melody. Since you're back here first, you will be the first one to go. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, if you see your name on the list, just let your presence be known when you're ready to get your reading done, and we'll go through them. So, Mercy, you find you on Twitter, so it's easy to set the images. You're about to ask because, yeah. I figured because, people redeemed at different times yesterday, I might as well just, I can't predict when they'll be here, so when they come, they'll be here. If people who redeemed aren't here, I'll probably just go down the list otherwise. But for now, we'll just go through it as we can go through it. So we'll get started with Mermaid Melody first then. And seeing this list get smaller is probably going to be very cathartic. There are so many names on this list. Well, I'm off to do your own stream. Have fun. Thank you, Katie. If you end up having time after your stream, I will also do your reading if you come back, but if you don't, then you can just catch the VOD. So, let's get going here. God, I can't believe winter break's already over. Today's the last day. And then tomorrow we go back into the academy. But I will be taking a bit of a short break, so I'm only gonna be at the academy for 3 days, and then I'll be on my own little vacation afterwards. Back to waging tomorrow, yeah. Hey, Nyx, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, waging. But, it's gonna be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of a short break on Friday and Monday. I'll be not at my computer, so that's why I won't be streaming for the rest of the week after Wednesday. So that's why we gotta make the most of what we have today and on Wednesday. And then I'll probably be streaming like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. Yeah, it's a short little break. It's nothing big. I'm just taking a little trip. I had a nickel for each VTuber who followed. You'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's strange that it happened twice. Hey, Tsar Werewolf, welcome. So, who's the other one? Is it Atropa? I know Atropa does tarot. I think Latanya does tarot, or dabbled in a bit. I know Mouthy Dude also did tarot, but I think he's rebranded to being some strange TV head person. But yeah, I know quite a few tarot readers. I know Zia does tarot. I talked to Congo the other day, and he was talking about how he's been experiencing it, but he doesn't do it like on stream or anything. But I thought that was pretty interesting, as expected of our show, honestly. I should also disable the tarot reading redeem, because otherwise this queue will never end. Tasuga Shisho. Zia, yeah, Zia Xenos. She was in chat yesterday, and we've done some. We did a cover together a while back when she was more actively streaming, like back before she graduated. You don't even have the points for it. Yeah, no, it's because some people will come in. I made it a really cheap redeem. I meant to do this before stream started, but then I didn't. It is quite literally 150 points. Yeah, I made it so that like anyone who stopped by yesterday could redeem it. Concept of Breaking Bad, but it's just Walter White. It's Elliot, what the fuck are you talking about? God, that's a good meme scene. I'm gonna take that and run with that. I'm gonna do an edit of that with at the diner. Oh, I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket. I've been shuffling so long. Let's get these cards down. Goddamn. Alright, Mermaid Melody, let's see how your year is gonna go. Let's see how it goes for the year of the viewer. Yo, Miss Embers, CEO, we need to cook. I am the one who maths. Alright. So, Mermaid, your year. Okay. Not a bad art to get at the start. We have very nice card, very positive card, I would say. This is a pretty good fortune overall. Your year is represented with the Queen of Cups right side up. And, like I've said before, cups are a symbol of, emotional growth, of emotional well-being, you know, good health, that kind of stuff. It seemed like a very positive sign, and I could either like see it as, you know, it could be representative of yourself or like maybe of a woman in your life who like is more of a mentor figure to you, something along those lines. It seems pretty positive though. You know, very compassionate, empathetic year. It's just, it represents that there's going to be a lot of understanding and a lot of, you know, emotional growth, I think, this year for you. And you get the Tower, the Tower, the Tower, the Emperor, the Tower, all reverse. The Super Tarot deck. Alright, in terms of collaboration and working with others, it seems like it's going to be a more relaxed year for you. Not going to be very busy, not going to be very hectic, which sometimes it's good to be able to rest. Sometimes, you know, the social battery can get drained a bit, and it looks like this is a card representing more of a restful time, more of a restful year. Not that you're not going to work together with other people, but it's more relaxed, you know, it's going to be more of a restful time. Not anything really stressful, just more laid back when it comes to you working with other people. In regards to your career, we have a major arcana here, and finally it is reversed this time around. This is a reverse card. We have Justice. So when it comes to your career, it seems like things might not be the most balanced, not the fair thing. You might experience some kind of inequality or things that you might feel like you're not being treated correctly where it is that you work. You might feel like, you know, maybe other people are taking advantage of you, or people are being taken advantage of, things aren't being done correctly there. Just make sure you keep an eye out for things as they happen at your job, at your work. Whatever it is that you're pursuing, whether it be, you know, school or a job. Whatever it is, your career path already. Oh, I'm sorry. In terms of health, that advice card keeps on getting knocked over. This is like the 4th time I've knocked over the advice column card before I've even gotten to it. We have the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands, right side up, seems pretty good. It's a very active card. So, no pay increase. The Knight of Wands in the health is a pretty straightforward card, just meaning like, you know, things will be alright. It's a card that represents motion. I don't think it means anything bad for your health. It means that, you know, if things do go not well, then you'll have a way to deal with it, sort of kind of thing. That, you know, you're very grounded, you're very stable right now as it is in terms of your health. It's not a very big focus, a very big worry here. In terms of money, seems like when it comes to your funds that you might be a little bit loose-handed with it for the sake of others, that you might not put yourself first when it comes to how you handle like your possessions or your material or your finances, that, you know, you might be looking out for others before you look out for yourself. That's what the Hangman in that position represents. So just make sure you're not yeah, for some people it's easy to fall into that, easy to just let yourself kind of try to be caring for others to a point where it kind of hurts you as well. Make sure you're watching out for yourself. In terms of gambling, seems like a pretty solid year for that. It seems like a pretty solid year for taking risks, because we have the Knight of Cups. If I could find him. Knight of Cups. We have 2 knights here. So I can see that the this reading here is kind of a bit more active in terms of how the year goes. That, you know, there's a lot of things that you're going to be setting forth to do yourself. A lot of things that you're going to be choosing to do, you know, through your own power. It's less of a passive year and more of an active year with things going on. Not that things are going to be major or not major, but rather there's going to be a lot happening. It's going to be a busy time. But with the Knight of Cups in the risk-taking position, I see it as a symbol stating that you have some good emotional and, you know, you have a good mental state when it comes to taking risks. You'll be able to figure out what it is that you should and shouldn't do when it comes to it. And I think the choices that you end up choosing to make are going to be ones that are good. Welcome, Jing96. We're just going through some tarot card readings. Hey, Biscuit, welcome. Sorry, this stream is actually a carryover stream from yesterday. I have so many readings to go through that I disabled the tarot redeem. So we're only just going to be going through. You can see that there's a whole list of people that I need to read for. I'm sorry. I don't like to disable the readings, but if I didn't, then I probably would not finish the stream this week. And if I had more of a free week, I would. But I'm going to be taking a bit of a short hiatus later on, so I don't have a lot of time. Unfortunately, I have a really big queue. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's someone doing tarot at the moment. I apologize. Normally I would, but yeah, I do readings every 2 weeks though. So if you catch me doing a tarot stream in the future, I definitely will be able to do readings. But this is a bit of a different case as it's the new year. Anyways, for the last card that we have here, Mermaid Melody, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. You'll probably see me if you peruse the tarot tag. For advice, again, it makes sense with what I said earlier. The Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands signifying a lot of action in this year. With the Nine of Pentacles, it's a card representing that we're not going to have a lot of rest here. It's not going to be a restful year. Like, I know I said with collaborations, it's going to be a little bit more laid back. But in regards to, you know, the year overall, it seems like you're going to need to be a little bit more proactive with how you make your decisions. So you have the energy to do it. It's just making sure that you actually, you know, in the words of the great Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Hi, okay guy, welcome. So we're gonna go through the list based on who I see up here in chat that already redeemed the tarot readings. So next we're gonna go with Biscuit because I think I saw Biscuit earlier, and then we'll do okay guy next. Hey, Kuro, why would you say that? Why would you say those words to me? How are you, Mr. Elliot members? I'm doing pretty good. We're just finishing up the readings from yesterday. Hey, Sheepy, welcome. So we are just doing the readings for yesterday, and just making sure that I get through everyone. And so because you are the third person on the list to appear to not sex pest the teacher, yeah, we're gonna do Biscuit, and then we're gonna do an okay guy, and then we're gonna do Sheepy. You guys all came back early. Eliassi Ambrossi. No. Incredibly, extremely loud, incorrect buzzer sound. She gan off my beef till I stroke? Biscuit. Why can I not find Biscuits? Why can I not find you? I'm sure it's in my following. She New Year me till I tarot. That image of Goku starting. Do not say that. Yeah, that's a good one. You just hear the first beat of the first note of the Ultra Instinct. Dun. Why can I not find Biscuit's Twitter? Why is this so hard? Why am I so bad at using Twitter? Biscuit, what's your @ I swear I know how to find this. I swear I know what it is. Twitter is confusing. So what I get from this, be proactive. Yeah, take reasonable risks and be proactive. And and be careful with money and don't overextend yourself too much. Let me. Oh, it's underscore. Okay. Biscuit underscore. Am I not following you? Did I not? What the fuck? How did I not click that follow button? What the fuck? Let's get the Iron Gabo Chef here. Okay, that's why I wasn't, because I wasn't following you already. I'm a silly. No problem, we'll see next year, yeah. I think, like, overall, I think I've probably almost done 40 once I'm done with today, it'll be, like, nearly 40 readings done for people. If I was able to follow the advice. Yeah, for some people, too, it's like, you don't have to follow the advice. For some people, it might be a warning sign for things to not do. You know, a path to avoid. So the tarot can only tell you one path that you can take. Not that it's the guaranteed path. Let's do that. Shuffle up a bit. I feel like one of these days I want to like get a stat counter for tarot streams to see like how many times each card appeared throughout the entire stream. Like, especially if I'm doing like 20 readings, like 20 times 7, that's 140 cards to see. Yeah. Surprisingly, that's not as many as I thought it would be, actually. Huh. But it'd still be interesting to see like how many cards like repeat itself over a short span of time. And sort of like collect those stats over like the tarot stream start of the year, see like what cards got revealed the most, what cards never got revealed. All right, let me also resize this. Oh, okay. So let me clear out the cards, and we're gonna take a look at Biscuit's fortune for the year. Let's see how it goes. This year will be a fruitful one. With enough data, you can read more of the future. Exactly. We incorporate mathematics and numbers into the tarot, which numerology already has a bit of influence on tarot, so it's not too surprising. Not too strange of a concept. Okay. So that takes us to the center card, which it's not that bad actually. It looks bad, but like then you realize that it's in reverse and you're like, okay, that's better actually. That's actually not the worst that's not the worst outcome we could get. So, I don't know what's happened in your recent past, Biscuit, but it seems like there's going to be a bit of recovery this year, right? It seems like there might have been a big loss that you've dealt with recently, or a very big, defeat that you've had to deal with recently, but it feels like this year is the year of recovery for that. It feels like whatever happened in the recent past, this is the year of, moving forward, moving ahead with what had happened. So, if you feel like you lost somewhere, if you feel like something bad happened to you. And this is sort of like a moving on from that. I don't know how accurate that is, but it seems like if there were, it's time of recovery, more or less. In terms of collaboration, in terms of working with other people, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is more of a sign of, in the upright position, the Six of Pentacles typically represents being more giving with your money, more giving with your funds, being able to provide for others, being able to, share what you have with others. But in reverse, it feels like you might feel like you don't have a lot to offer to other people. You might feel like when it comes to working together with other people that you're not ready to, you don't feel like you have enough to give to people, or you feel like you might not be able to provide as much as you'd like to be able to. Which, when it comes to working together with people, I definitely get that idea. I definitely understand why some people might feel that way when it comes to, like, working with others. Part 2, yeah. Welcome, Thunderbird. I've been rearranging the now reading list in order of people coming in and out, so you will be 4th on the list since you're the 4th person to appear. But yeah, it seems like, in terms of collaboration, Biscuit, that things might not come as easy to you as you feel like you want them to. In terms of your career, wow, it's not like a terrible reading, but it feels like everything is just taking swings at Biscuit right now. It feels like the cards are trying to fight, is what I'm getting here. We have, in terms of your career, yeah. I'll try to play around that. Hopefully you have the free time over break when I get to your reading. We have the Star in reverse, which is a card that represents, confusion, uncertainty, not sure if the path that you're taking is the path that you want to take here. So you might be faced with some events in your career that sort of make you question whether or not you want to continue doing what it is that you're doing, or making you question, like, if you're happy where you're at right now. Which, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad or good thing necessarily. It's pretty neutral. It's sort of like a very reflective card, a very, making you take a step back and thinking, like, is this what you want to do kind of thing. In terms of health, okay, we got a good sign here. In terms of health, we have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands. This is like 80% accurate. Well, it's a passing grade, so I'll take that. I'll take a passing grade. The Queen of Wands is a card that represents, being grounded, being stable. We saw the other wand. We saw the Knight of Wands in the last reading. Seeing the Queen of Wands here gives me the idea that, again, very stable, very able to move forward, very good signs for health. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any issue with there. Not a negative card. Wands typically have to do with being grounded and being stable, and seeing a court card right side up there is a pretty positive sign overall. In terms of money, we have the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups, again, it's a card representing, having having and being able to give to others. So it's interesting because, you know, when it came to collaboration, it didn't feel like you were able to provide a lot, but in terms of money, it feels like, you know, you're able to do what it is that you need to do. You're able to, you have enough without needing to want for more. Or you'll have enough, I should say, since this is a future reading. When it comes to gambling, when it comes to taking risks, it seems like, let's see here, we have the Two of Cups right side up, which, I do the right card. We have the Two of Cups here, which is a card that represents, you know, unity. It represents making choices with other people, making, you know, like making a pact with another person. And in terms of taking risks, it's sort of giving me the idea that you might have one major risk to take, right? There might be either a person that you're gonna go along with, take risks with, and someone like, you know, like a partner in crime kind of thing, that when you take risks together with another person, that it seems like you have confidence that things will work out together. And in terms of advice, interesting. Very interesting. We have the Eight of Swords for advice here. And the Eight of Swords in this position gives me the idea that, you know, Eight of Swords represents being stuck, being trapped, not being able to move around. And I think seeing this in the advice is giving me the idea that they're saying that to not stray too far off the beaten path. You know, sometimes, you know, if you don't have a lot of wiggle room to move forward, sometimes just staying where you are, staying on the path that you're supposed to be taking, might be what's best for you. You know, you don't need to go explore too far from what it is that you see ahead of you. So that's the idea that I'm getting. You know, it's going to be a year of recovery, and, you know, there might be some uncertainty, some confusion, some self-doubts, but just keep on trucking along that path that you're going on, and I think you'll be okay. That's my reading for you, Skit. Alright. Alright, that bumps to 90%. Okay. I always find it funny when, you know, I don't know if a reading is going to be accurate, and then they're like, oh yeah, this was like mostly accurate. I'm like, how? How does this always hit? I guess because, you know, the vague nature of tarot. Alright, let me see if I could find NOK Guy's Twitter. I know I have him on, there it is. NOK Guy 343. Save this as Elliot bumbles his way to the truth. Elliot just, like, I just put on a blindfold and just go walk around. I can't believe we to believe in the reading 100% and be mad when it's not actually 100% accurate. Yeah, that's how it be sometimes. No, but it's gonna be crazy when it is 100% accurate and it does happen, because I'm literally so smart. My brain is so huge, and I just know so much. Alright, anyway. Let's this shuffle a little bit more. I forgot that was your Twitter. Sometimes you just forget what your Twitter profile picture was. Kaji literally had the same profile picture for over a year. Everyone else in Nakaboke switched their matching profile pictures, and he just kept on that one. I'm like, Kaji, you're precious. I love you. Yes, you are next, Sheepy Fields. Also, not only can I remove names off of this list today, I can also make the names on the list bigger so it's actually legible. Okay. There we go. It's readable now. Anyways, work is starting. At worst, you'll be back in there. Alright. Well, I'll just try to keep you I'll keep you in the wings, as I figure you'll be up eventually. So, thank you for reminding me to drink and stretch. Stay healthy. The wings, appropriate for a bird. You're right. Alright. Shuffle a little bit more, because I forget how much I shuffled the deck already. I feel like there should be, like, a timer. I should put a timer for how long I take shuffling the deck. Like, I get one of those, like, Rubik's Cube, like, wrist stations. Daddy's about to bring the smackdown this bingo night. How was that? How was that dramatic enough for you? Was that a good reading? Okay, guy. It's always really funny. I always like I talk like this at the academy as well, and sometimes I'll pull out the deep voice, and then my students are like, "Wow, Mr. Ambers, can you like talk like that normally?" And I was like, "I mean, I could, but I don't want to." Why did you just say fuck yes to that? Like, apparently the kids were really tickled by the deep voice Elliot Ambers. Hey, Miracle Rosie, welcome. Those wiggle emotes that I've been seeing pop up are really cute. Humans, it tickled me too. Damn. Alright. So, I mean, like, it's not like I have to do any effort to lower my voice. It's just that I don't really find it particularly... I don't know, I don't feel like I would enjoy talking like this for most of a stream. It wouldn't be hard and it wouldn't be a challenge to do so, but I kind of like talking in my normal tone. I'm glad it did, Rosie. Alright, okay guy, so what we have for your reading... I sound so serious. Bassy voices are great, says the guy with the bassy troll. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say they like the low voice, but I get a lot of people who say that they like how I sound normally too. I just feel like it... I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be me. Also, if I have the ability to do this voice without any trouble, then, you know, in the future, if I eventually do reincarnate into something else and want to, like, not be completely known, then I could just, you know, talk like this. And if I just never talk like how I usually talk and I just play a character with a deep voice, then, wow, you'll never be able to find me, right? I'd just be gone. I'd just be way poofed forever. Yeah, that's more of what I like to go for, though. The super welcoming and kind teacherly vibe. Hey, Magic, welcome. Let me add you. Rearrange the list. I just love your job. I'm sorry. It's Ellie's. Let's see. Magic, you'll go over here for now, then. And let's see. So to start off your reading, okay, guy, or I guess I'll call you Andy because that's what it says in your Twitter bio. Your year is represented by death in reverse. So what it tells me is that this year is gonna be a bit more of the same old. There's not going to be a lot of major changes that happen this year, and sometimes that's fine, right? I don't know how your status is, how your contentment with the past year has been, but it feels like it's gonna be not one of many major changes, which, depending on how your lifestyle is or how things have been going, that could be fine or not. So, that's what I'm getting here. It's triggering me that your other hand doesn't have a glove. It's, you know, sometimes you just need one glove, right? I don't need to dirty up the right hand. The left hand can be dirtied up. In terms of collaborations with others, in terms of working with others, we have the Chariot in reverse, which this is the third time I've seen this card in this specific position. It's better to stroke the chat box with, right? Let me just stroke the chat box a little bit. But the Chariot in reverse tells me that you'll feel like when it comes to working with other people, you'll have a harder time, you know, having control of how things go, you know? Like, you'll feel like you'll want to have more of a presence, have more control over how your collaborations go, but it'll feel like you don't have that control. Which just sucks, it's awful. It feels really bad that, you know, when you want to do something and it just doesn't turn out the way you want it to, it can be very difficult to deal with. When it comes to career, we have the Page of Wands. You know, the Page of Wands is a very studious... You already feel that? I'm sorry. We have the Page of Wands for the career section, which is representative of this idea of being, you know, being stable, being grounded in where you're at right now, that feels like the career that you're working at, the job that you're working at, whatever it is, whether it's school or a career, that things are going smoothly, things are going well enough. Nothing too great or too bad, but, you know, you're doing the things that you're doing. I guess it pretty well ties into the reverse death card, but it seems like for the most part, it's more of a positive experience than a negative experience. That things are going well and nothing really standout is going to happen. It'll be a sort of smooth journey going forward. In terms of health, we have the Emperor in reverse. So the Emperor typically represents, you know, a controlling figure, having authority, having power over things. But seeing the Emperor in reverse for health gives me the idea that you might feel that your health is very much out of your control, or there might be instances in the year that you might feel that your work or your life is being hampered by your health, and there's not much that's working that feels like it's fixing that. You know, I guess sometimes you just have to make sure you watch out for your health, take the best actions that you can to, you know, stay healthy. But sometimes, you know, I've definitely known people who they've gone to doctors for a long time and like the doctors don't do anything to help their condition, and they keep on going to doctors and the doctors just don't do anything, and it's a very frustrating cycle. But hopefully that's not what happens. In regards to money, wow, this is a very turbulent year for you, despite the fact that it's talking about stagnation. I know reading's just reading, but this accurate's just far. Yeah, it sometimes just be like that. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here for money. And what this tells me, what the Wheel of Fortune in reverse tells me for the money section here in reverse, is that anything can happen in a very chaotic sort of way. You know, when I see the Wheel of Fortune in the upright, I see it more as, you know, anything can happen in the sense that you kind of just have to let life guide you as it goes. But I think it's really interesting because seeing both of these, the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, gives me the idea that sometimes when you go through life, sometimes when you go through the motions of life and the things that it gives to you, sometimes you kind of just go let it drag you around. And that's okay. Sometimes you just exist in the world and watch as everything happens around you. Like, and that's what I sort of feel with the Wheel of Fortune. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but rather sometimes things unexpected just happen and that might have an effect on your finances. Sometimes you just don't know exactly what's going to happen, and it's a very unpredictable kind of thing. Kind of like you're just getting ragdolled in Gmod. Yeah, that's, I mean, I feel that too. I feel like I'm also more of a passive kind of person. When it comes to gambling, when it comes to taking risks, we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. This is a very turbulent reading, very upside down reading. There's 4 major arcana. Let's see if we can make it 5. But the Seven of Cups here in reverse gives me the idea that you might tunnel vision onto a risk or an opportunity really hard. You know, there's a lot of opportunities surrounding you. There's a lot of things that you can have in front of you, but it seems that with this in reverse, there might be something that you have an idea of what you want to take a risk on, but make sure you also analyze your options around you before you sort of tunnel vision or dedicate yourself too hard to one specific thing. Interesting. This is very interesting now, with how turbulent and how reversed almost every card is. Alright, cancel your Vegas trip. I think this is very fascinating as a final card. We have, as the last card, it's so interesting how Death and Fool are bookending this reading. Death is a card that's symbolizing the stagnation because it's in reverse. The Fool is a card that talks about having unlimited possibilities ahead of you, having a lot of opportunities. And I think the advice here is that you might not want to be too passive in this year. That, you know, a lot of this, like we said, there's a lot of things that'll stay the same, and that might be because if you're passive, you kind of just let the control sort of drag you around instead of, you know, being able to take the reins there. So with the Fool as the advice, it's sort of implying to me that you should sort of try to take more of a proactive lead, try to see more of the possibilities that are surrounding you, and try to give yourself a hand in approaching those possibilities rather than just, you know, letting things stay the same. It seems like the Fool in regards to the rest of the reading is telling you, don't let the rest of the reading happen. Take a step forward and be a little bit more proactive. It's funny that the advice card is telling you to fuck the rest of the reading. But that's sort of what I'm getting here. I hope that helps. I hope it was insightful for your year going forward. I'm glad you think so. Screw your fortune, choose your own path. Well, I mean, technically, it's not screwing the fortune. The fortune teller's not telling you to screw your fortune. It's telling you that the rest of the fortune be like, it's like a 1v6. The fool is fighting the rest of the fortune. Yeah, it's always really interesting when people who don't get many fortunes read for themselves see like a fortune being read, because again, a wise woman once told me, the cards can only tell you things that you already know. So it's really up to you to understand the interpretations and sort of move forward from that. The fool is simply built different. And before she cancels me on Twitter for stealing her content that was said by Zia Zenos. There, I gave you credit. Are you happy? I think she's busy doing some shopping, but she checks the VOD out. I will not be canceled. I'm uncancelable. I'm cancel proof. The fool got the plot armor. I mean, that's literally just the story of Persona, isn't it? That's just Persona. The fool always has plot armor, and then you get hit by Hamaon, or Muraon, and then you just die, and then you have to restart, and then death is not a hunter unbeknown to its prey, one is always aware that it lies in wait. But life is merely just a journey to the grave, it will not be undone without hope. Sorry. I got too into it. Don't ask me why I remember the like entire game over dialogue to Persona 3. Sometimes you just obsess over a game for a little bit amount of time as a treat in high school. Anyway, next up we have Sheepy Fields, and then Thunderbird if they're here, and if Thunderbird's not there, then it'll be Magic next. Alright, no problem. Sheepy Fields, do you have a Twitter? Or am I just gonna steal your Twitch icon? It is you. It is in fact you. Despite everything, it's still you. God, I fucking love Undertale. You know, I wouldn't say it out loud or anything, but like, Undertale just hits. Undertale definitely has like a lot of moments that hit really well. Yeah, I'll just use your Twitch icon. You know, just like, so much of Undertale still sticks with me, despite the memes, despite the jokes. I don't know, one of these days I'll revisit Undertale, I think. I think it's one of those games that, like, you let it sit for a while of having not played it and then just play through it again. I remember when I went to a convention, I think like a couple years ago, and I bought the what is it, the Fangamer limited edition Undertale Collector's Edition, and man, the locket broke instantly. I will not lie, the chain for that locket was really bad. But it's still really nice to have, like, the music box inside of it. It's just so cute. It plays his theme, and it's just a very nice piece of merchandise to have, I feel. You don't get things like that very often. Alright, here's Sheepy Fields. I can recommend Glacialia. Oh, also, hi Shockplays, welcome. I'll also add you to the list. I'll put you above, right below Magic. Hopefully your internet's doing better this year. I've seen a lot of Undertale AUs. But yeah, that, for some reason, Undertale, I guess because, like, Gaster and everything, like, the whole, like, multiple universe and the way, like, Sans was written implies that there's supposed to be a lot of different timelines. I guess that's sort of why. And also because Undertale is just easily a moddable game. Alright, so let's see. Shuffle a little bit more and see how Sheepy Fields' error rating will go. Oh god. Oh Jesus. Oh goodness. Oh gracious. I have somehow fucked that entire deck up. Try not to bend the cards challenge, Elliot Ambers. Okay. We're gonna shuffle a little bit more, and then we'll do one last cut. And let's see. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. You are filled with the determination. Determination. I still can't believe Temmie's a VTuber. That always gets me. Like, I remember when I first started streaming, he also had started streaming. That was a very surprising thing to see. Anyway, start off the fortune. We have card number 1, which leads us with another reversed Major Arcana card. This one isn't necessarily bad, but it might be a little concerning. So we're starting off this year with the High Priestess, which the High Priestess in reverse is a card that talks about a lot of uncertainty and a lot of, clouded insights that you might not be sure on whether or not the path forward, yeah. So it's this idea that maybe you're going through something in your life or something will be approaching you soon, Sheepy, that you're not really sure what exactly it is that you want to do, or that, you know that something's coming, but you're not sure what's going to come of it. And there's like maybe a very massive decision coming up for you that has left you a little bit confused and uncertain of the future past that. With the collaborations card, we have 8 of Cups in reverse. I mean, you're debating on whether or not to go to a convention. That's a pretty big decision. So when it comes to collaborations, the 8 of Cups in reverse is this idea of, not being ready to let go, not being ready to sort of move on from what it is. I don't know if there was like a friend or people that you like to work with that you might have to be saying goodbye to, but it seems like the decisions to move forward is a very hard one, and you're having trouble letting go. When it comes to working together with the people, that might be that, I don't know if there's other people that you liked working with that you might not be able to see for a while, and you're not ready to say goodbye to yet. That's sort of the idea that I'm getting here when it comes to collaboration. This idea, maybe it connects with the convention, like, if you choose not to go, then will you be able to see the people that you would have seen anyways? Thing. Might be a hard decision. When it comes to the career, why does the tarot have to make me look like such a mean person? In terms of your career, we have the 5 of Pentacles, which indicates a very hard time coming ahead. Represents, it doesn't even represent the hard times coming ahead. It represents the hard times are like in the present or soon present times. Does God say you're doomed? No, God says that God is giving his mightiest warriors his silliest battles is what's happening here. It's gonna be a rough time moving forward with whatever it is that your career is, whether you're a student or in the workforce. Seems like things might be a little rough on that front. In terms of health, we have the Magician in reverse. And the Magician... So the Magician right side up typically represents, having a lot of energy, channeling that power, finding your goals, finding your ambitions. In reverse, it sort of represents a bit of instability, represents that things might not go in the direction, in the way that you want to channel that energy. And in terms of health, it might mean that, you might try your best to stay healthy, and things still might go wrong, which, wow, that's rough. That is rough. Really, all I can say is that to make sure you take the best steps that you can to stay healthy. But I guess, sometimes things might go wrong, and that, sometimes you just have to accept that if things go wrong, then, sometimes the precautions aren't a 100% failsafe, and to not get worked up, and just do your best to recover after things hit. In terms of money, at least have a bit more of a positive card here. Seems that we have Temperance. The thing about Temperance is that it's not good or bad. It's a reminder kind of card. It's a reminder, or it's a sign. Oh, yeah. If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that one, I probably would have more than a couple dollars, which, that's pretty impressive, actually. I'm kind of really cracked at fortune telling, I guess. I don't know, it surprises me every time still. But with Temperance, it's telling me that in regards to your funds that, you know, it's okay to indulge a little bit, but that you'll also know when you have to take the time to be a little bit more conservative with your funds. Temperance is a card that represents being able to keep things in moderation, keep things in balance, and that you're not going to have trouble really balancing out, you know, the indulgences with the needs for saving. So overall, it doesn't seem like you're going to be in a bad spot financially. In terms of gambling, this is also a very major reading. We have 4 major arcana. Can we get the 5? We have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant, right side up, you know, it's a card that represents maintaining the status quo, maintaining, you know, how things are, keeping things the same. Granted, tarot's like set up in a way that yeah, it's pretty cool in that way, that it's very hard to not get a right reading because there's usually some things that can connect to it. I think I've only ever gotten like this didn't apply to anything, like maybe like once or twice in all my years of doing tarot. But in terms of gambling, in terms of your risk-taking, it seems like whatever it is that you do, however it is that you approach risks in the past, is this way that you should approach them now. There's nothing that you need to change up in that. You know, keep things the way they are. It's more like things have been fine so far, so you don't need to go and fix that, how you take your risks. And the Knight of Wands here, the way I see this in the advice column is that despite the fact that we have uncertainty represented in the overall, yeah, they've combined to make the most cracked fortunes. So, in regards to the overall fortune, there's this uncertainty that might be looming over, this difficulty in making a major decision in the crossroads in your life. The Knight of Wands is sort of telling you that you should just go with your gut feelings here. Go with your instincts to move forward beyond that. Sort of, in the moment, what you feel the right answer is going to be your answer, or should be your answer. Don't spend too long staying clouded, staying uncertain about your choices. Take the steps forward even if you don't fully believe them. Because sometimes, you know, if you stay like paralyzed with, you know, that choice paralysis, if you just stay stuck trying to mull on this decision, then you might spend more time than you need to on this idea, to the point where it might just negatively affect the things that happen surrounding you. Make sure you just move forward. Keep on moving forward. One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite manga of all time. It's called, I think it was called Paint. You know, it was a short manga about paint drying. It was a very heartwarming, a very moving message. Definitely like one of my top 5 favorite manga of all time. I'm glad you think it was interesting. And thank you for asking for the reading. That takes us to our next one, which, Thunderbird, if you're here, I'll do your reading, and if not, I will just bump you down, and I will do the reading for Magic next. I know Thunderbird's got some things with breaks and stuff, so we'll read for him when he's ready. Oh my god, the text... The list is almost as big as the now reading font is, which is like what it was supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be, but I think once we get through one more reading, it'll be exactly the same size. Yes. Are Magic or Thunderbird here? Or Shoxy plays? Is any of you guys here? Anyone else on the list here? If you see your name on the list, hi Magic, there you are. I want to make sure that people are here as I do their readings. Not that I can't do their readings without them being here, but you know, I think it's nice to be able to see your reading in real time. Well, I'll get your reading here, Magic. Thing. Anyway, sometimes I'll like just look at Twitter notifications while I'm doing things. What is this? I'm spiritually in a different realm, but my physical body is not left. Alright, well, we'll get you out of the way here. We'll get you out of the way so that you can be in the same realm with both mind and body. How do I get your... Oh god, that is an awful thing to Google. Or, that's an awful thing to look for on Twitter. Very tricky. Believe in I forgot how to get your Twitter at Magic. I'm losing it. Let me see. I think if I find you on Discord, I think if I look on the Discord server, then we can get you that way. I can do this. I can do this. I'm smart enough for this. I don't remember what your Discord was. How do I find your Twitter? I'm just gonna get this. I'm just gonna get your image here. I'll just use your Twitch. The #1 Magic Skeptic gets a tarot reading, yeah. Okay, let's see. I can just use save this. Save it, and then that's fine. It's using a Twitch profile picture twice. That saves me a little bit of clicking, actually. There we go. It's magic. No stranger to tarot readings on this channel, I think. I'm pretty sure I've pulled up your profile picture a non-zero amount of times on this channel before. I think I did a reading for you last year too, actually, now that I think about it. That's this. Okay. Then we do this. I've had a, yeah. I remember now. I recall a couple. I remember you did one asking about like your orchestra at one point. Okay. Let's see. And this. Alright, let's see what the card's gotta say about magic. Five, 6, 7. Alright. So, Magic, your year to start. Okay. A pretty neutral year, I think. Average luck. Nothing too bad, nothing too great, but it's fine. And sometimes things just being okay is alright. We have the Page of Wands right side up. You know, he's a messenger. He's a very scholarly type character. He represents, you know, the pursuit of learning. He represents being, you know, more stable, more grounded. He represents just learning, you know. It's a little bit of that whimsy and imagination. And there's nothing really negative about this card. It's just being more studious. It's being more studious, being more insightful, being more curious about the world and its learnings, and keeping a solid head on your shoulders as you do so. I wouldn't even say it's mediocre. It's just, I mean, you think about like Fire Emblem, right? Sometimes you have characters like Seth who just solo an entire map, and then you have characters who are like, you know, like Luke, who are good, but like, they're not Seth. They're not mediocre either. They can be really good. It's just, they're just not Seth. That's the thing. Anyone looks mediocre when you're put next to gods. In terms of collaboration, in terms of working with other people, you have Temperance here in reverse. Interesting that we're seeing it twice. We didn't see it once yesterday, I don't think. But Temperance is this idea, yeah, Temperance is the idea that, you know, things are going to be a little bit unbalanced. You might find a hard time, you know, sometimes you might find yourself overindulging and working together with other people. Sometimes you might find yourself feeling more isolated. You might have a harder time balancing out when you should or shouldn't be, you know, collaborating with others. And sometimes it's really easy to fall into that, easy to, you know, overindulge and then unindulge, I guess. But it seems that things will be out of balance in terms of how you interact with other people, that you might feel, you know, like a charged social battery one day and not have the energy to deal with people another day. It's going to be a very back and forth kind of unbalanced, chaotic kind of thing. In terms of your career, in terms of your path moving forward, we have the Hermit. And I think the Hermit in the career path is interesting because it represents a lot of self-reflection, a lot of introspective, like, time, a lot of learning. Being an extrovert and lying on the floor with... Yeah! That's such a mood. That is such a mood. But yeah, with the Hermit here, it's this idea that in regards to what it is that you're pursuing, There's going to be a lot of self-discovery this year, a lot of introspection and thinking about yourself and how you sort of want to proceed with how you're learning. It's not a bad thing, you know, it's very much a sign of growth, and it ties together pretty well with the overall meaning here, this pursuit of knowledge and the choice to, you know, be more introspective about your life. In terms of health, we have the Ace of Cups. You know, the Ace of Cups is very much a symbol of creative and emotional health and energy. And seeing this in reverse gives me the idea that, you know, you might have a hard time sort of balancing that out, sort of have a hard time, you know, containing all of that energy. Sometimes, you know, you might go a little bit too far with how you know, spend your energy, spend your time, and it might be easy for you to drain yourself. So just make sure that you're watching out for that. Make sure you don't let yourself tire out too easily. You don't want to drain your energy like that. In terms of money, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. You know, this is the idea that, you know, can't drain energy if there's none to begin with. Got him. Well, that's why the Ace of Cups is already upside down. It's been upside down for a while, I guess. All the energy just poured out. But in the money category here, with the Three of Pentacles, it's a symbol of... Hi, Mara, welcome. I'll move you up to the active participants list. Let me do that. So what it is that, you know, there might be people who are sort of guiding you, are supposed to be an instructor, mentor to you, but you feel like their advice, what they're telling you to do is advice that you either disregard or don't feel like is important. When it comes to money, there might be someone who, like, might be telling you how you should approach, you know, your potential, like, job linings or your money or your prospects, and you personally feel that it's not something worth listening to, that if they tell you something that you don't trust, that, you know, maybe you should believe yourself and not trust them. Maybe you feel like, if you feel like they're trying to guide you down the wrong path, they might be guiding you down the wrong path. Let me drink and I'll stretch after I do the rest of this reading. In terms of taking risks, we have not the Hierophant, we have the Seven of Pentacles here. Not the Seven, the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of restlessness when we have it in the reverse position that it's in. So it implies to me that if you have things that you want to do, if you have risks that you want to take, you might feel more inclined to take those risks. You might feel more inclined to, you know, be a little bit more risky, be a little bit more willing to take risks, but make sure that, you know, you have things surrounding you, you have some safety nets, but you want to make sure you don't stray too far from the safety that you have. You know, taking risks is nice, but don't get too hasty with the risks that you take this year. And now, the advice. Seems like with the Three of Wands here, you know, it's a card of waiting, it's a card of patience. But we have it in reverse here, so it seems that the advice here is that, you know, you don't want to spend too much time waiting. There's a lot of self-learning, there's a lot of growth that's going to be happening based on what we have in this reading so far. But make sure you don't spend too much time in your own bubble, and make sure you take the action to move forward. Make sure you don't just spend too long cooking, right? You don't want to spend too long in one area before you can move forward. Then the opportunities that might have been surrounding you at one point might move away from you then. That's my reading to you, Magic. I hope it helps. And we're gonna stretch a little bit. Stretch. Overall, yeah, not a bad reading. Let me see if I can crack my back. One vertebrae. Some small cracks. Not that great, but also not bad. Mediocre, just like how I like it. Yeah. Sometimes just being okay is okay. Arrow-pilled reading cell. Thank you, Kuro. You sure know how I am. Alright, is Thunderbird or Shoxy here? I know Mero just redeemed some requests, so I know that she's here. But are the others here, or is anyone else on the list here? You did not get I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, at the very least. I need that loud siren sound on my computer. Every time I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Alright. I'll just shuffle a bit. And I think because she was the last person I saw in chat, we're gonna do Mado, because I haven't seen Thunderbird or Shoxy comment. Yes. I will try not to damn anyone by accident, Magic. I hope you get some good rest. Thank you for stopping by. The boom sound when the bad cards get pulled, just the vine boom. I need that on like a hotkey. Alright. Let's Mado get on. Marco. Not incorrect at all. Alright. Save it as a 1. And there we are. Rainy Mado. Let's go. So your thought was that the old alarm sirens are so big they have to have a Corvette medium. Yeah. I'm trying to do the people who are actively in chat, and then, you know, if there's no one who is in chat that redeemed a request yesterday, then I will then go to the people who, just in the order that they did it. Look at this list getting smaller. Yeah, because also, like, if you stop by and, like, if I'm going in the order of, like, readings that were redeemed yesterday, I might as well just do the readings while the people who redeemed them are still here. Okay. Let's do this. Then let me go through cards. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. VIP line. The VIP line of in chat actively talking. Also hi Data. Let's finish the shuffle. Then 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. So the central card is 4 of Wands in reverse. Very important chatter readings. Let me take a sip too. You guys really want me to stretch out. Let me do some more stretching that are just my back. Let me stretch out my arms. No shrimp pose, right. Sitting up straight. So the first card that we have here is a reverse card. It is the 4 of Wands in reverse. So the 4 of Wands, I think, is interesting because it's this representation of a party that's happening, a celebration. But in reverse, sort of what I get is the idea that the party's over. It's a more empty card. It's more like this is a more silent year than anything. You know, not that there won't be any cheers of celebration, but it's not a massive year in terms of, you know, like events and happenings. Things will happen, things will go on. It's gonna be like, you know, like when you're at a party and, you know, you're the 8th hour in, it's probably like 3 hours past midnight, and there are people just sitting on the couch vibing. That's sort of the idea of the reversed 4 of Wands. It's just the runoff of it, where it's a very chill year. It's a very lax year. In terms of collaboration, in terms of working with other people, yeah, the queue is on the left, and that is from yesterday, actually, Zigludo. These are New Year's readings that I'm doing for, you know, to usher in the new year. I do tarot readings about twice a week normally, so come 2 weeks from now, I'll definitely do another tarot stream. So I closed off the queue pretty much because if I opened the queue, then I would probably have way more readings to go through. That's also me, Meadow. Or it used to be me. I used to host a lot of parties, and the after cleanup is definitely a vibe. In terms of collaborations and working with others, we have the Three of Cups in reverse, which, you know, it's usually a happy card to see when it's right side up, but in reverse, it's this idea that, you know, you don't feel as connected with others as you might have once felt connected. You know, it might feel like there's a rough time. You have like a rough time talking with others, connecting with others, and you feel like you're not as close as you could have been in the past. You know, it feels like there's not a lot of unity or, you know, closeness as there might have once been. In terms of your career, moving forward, this is where I need those. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, sirens, unfortunately. In terms of your career, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, which, in reverse, it's like, there's the energy is there, you know, it's very much a symbol of that creative, emotional energy, but it's blocked, you know, it feels like moving forward when it comes to moving with your career, there might feel like there's some kind of a block in your way. But, you know, the potential and the power for that energy to do well is there. It's just you have to work on getting past that sort of mental block or emotional block. When it comes to health, we have, I don't know how to interpret this card in this position here. We have the, where are you? No, my alphabet, K, L. There it is. Been burnt out. Yeah, burnout will do it then. You need to find your groove again, I guess. So we have the Lovers in reverse here in terms of health. And I think what that might mean is just in terms of your health, it might mean more of an emotional kind of thing where, you know, it's not necessarily your health like physically, but rather like the spoons that you have to offer, I guess, is in a way to word it, or like sort of your emotional state, you know, sort of like your ability to relate to others might feel a bit hampered, you know, in terms of, you know, emotional health or relation health. You know, it might feel like this is a rough year for you. Like things like trusting people, it might be a little bit harder, or just your ability to give to others might feel a little bit, you know, more strained, like less easy to give, essentially. In terms of money, yeah, jaded. Jaded's a good word for it. Wow, this is... this is literally like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, the reading. We have, in terms of money, we have the Three of Swords right side up, which implies that in terms of, you know, in terms of finances, in terms of things involving money, there might feel, you know, like some kind of betrayal or broken trust, things that just don't go right. For the money, it's really hard to like pin that down. Just like, you know, you feel like things don't go right. You feel like maybe you don't earn what you think you should earn or something, which I guess as an artist that makes sense. Yeah, you're right, Marrow. This is definitely not the first time that I've gotten the Three of Swords for you. I don't know what to tell you. This is, and it's like, we've seen this like once or twice over the past 2 days, but somehow it just landed on you. Again. In terms of advice, not in terms of risk-taking, gambling, it seems that it's a more positive thing, that you'll feel more inclined to take risks. And maybe that might be how you sort of get around a lot of the issues here. Maybe it's that risk-taking. So the King of Cups here illustrates the idea that, you know, not only do you feel more in control when it comes to taking those risks, but rather that you have a good feeling about how they'll go, right? Sometimes, like, when you take a risk, you know, sometimes it's like 50-50, it works out or it doesn't. But sometimes you go into a risk knowing that it's like, it's 90 to 10%, like it's almost definitely going to work out. tell you, if you go for a 90% chance, there is a chance that that 10% does happen. And when that 10% does happen, does it feel bad? But it seems that there's a lot more confidence when it comes to risk taking. And sometimes, you know, it's like that one picture. It's like, aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go apeshit? Sometimes you just gotta take those risks. And now for the advice, which I think is interesting here. Amidst all the trouble and turmoil, and a lot of things that are mentioned in this reading are involving of multiple parties, you know, like the Lovers, the Three of Swords, the Three of Cups. These all have to do with other people. The advice, and even like the overall, like this is a card symbolizing community and like celebration with others. The advice, I think it's just so funny how this just ends up like this. The advice is the Hermit in the right side of position. Sometimes what you need to do is be alone and introspect and just think about yourself and take care of yourself first and foremost. Use this sort of like more relaxed period of your life to just relax and just reflect on yourself, I guess. To just think about yourself and think about how you want to take care of yourself. So that's my reading for you. Oh. Hope it helps. Yeah, sometimes we gotta do a lot of soul searching. I know how that could be. Oh. But do your best, Meadow. Hey Kit, welcome! Glad to see you stopping by. If you're here, then I think you're next up on the list if Thunderbird and Shoxy aren't here. Are either of you guys here? Because if Thunderbird Prime and Shoxy plays aren't here, then we'll go on to Katrine. I will drink up. I just drank coffee, but also I'll drink that too. No problem, Meadow. You've been lurking in the shadows for a while. I see. Well, it looks like Thunderbird and Shoxy aren't here. I know Thunderbird, his break times are a little bit erratic, so we'll go with Katrine next. We'll go for your New Year's reading. Man, there's nothing that feels worse than like telling people like, no, I can't do a reading for you today. Yippee! Won't call a trinken. Let me just save the orange hat though. And then we'll get started. And then we just gotta take this here, and let's see. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is this? Who is It Is Moss, and why are they twerking on me? You're so excited to see how your year's gonna go, Kit? Hopefully it goes well. Alright. Okay. Let's see. That's your friend, I see. I guess twerking Amogus is one of like, there's like a list of like every VTuber, every streamer has at least one kind of animated avatar. Some people have like the Poplio Wiggly. Some people have like that new era wiggle where it's like the chibi guy wiggling left and right. Or some people have like the Squibby that like goes up and down, and then there's the Amogus twerk. Like those are like the anime streamer. Everybody needs Wiggly. I love the Wigglies. The Wigglies are so cute. Yeah, this Wiggle. I don't know who made the Wiggle popular, but I remember there was that like one Niji Sanji stream. I think it was like the Millie Parfait stream where she did a Zatsudan. They did like the Zatsudan where everyone just jumped into a voice call and they were all like silent for an entire hour. Like every like a minute or two someone would speak up and it would be like the most awkward small talk, and they just went on that for like an hour and a half. And that is, I think that's just such a fun idea. And like I feel like it only works if you have like a really big viewer base, but just just to be so excited for like a Zatsudan like collab, and then just that's for an entire hour just chat. Like that's basically what VTubers are still watching was as a concept, except it wasn't VTubers are watching us. It was just a bunch of people sitting in a voice call, not doing anything. And I think that's beautiful. Oh, I love the Ellie bounce. That one's so good. It's got speed. What are these? Mordek. Oh, this is a Helltaker. Oh yeah, the Helltaker dance is also really popular. And that's Fenrir. Alright, let's see. Let's see what the cards have to say about Kit. So Kit... This is the year that Kit goes apeshit, apparently. The first card that we have for this reading... Oh, Nyan-Cat. That's one good. That Nyan-Cat is good. Meow, meow, meow. So, the first card that we have here for this reading is Temperance. So, not necessarily apeshit, but it's a card that represents imbalance. Temperance, right side up, indicates that you're living a balanced life, that you're doing things, in moderation. Temperance in reverse tells me that, like, this year, there's going to be a lot of imbalance in your life, that there are going to be things that you focus on more than others really hard. Instead of, like the kind of year where you just, like, hyper-fixate on something, hyper-focus on something. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing, but just sometimes it's really easy to sort of lose your balance, sort of lose what you're doing, and just focus too much on one thing. And I definitely have had, like, small moments in my time where I've done that, but, like, this seems like it might be a recurring theme throughout the year where you find it hard to sort of balance everything you want to do because you focus on certain things a little more than others. In terms of collaboration, in terms of working with other people, we have Strength in reverse. Starting off very, very strong, starting off already very turbulent. So Strength in reverse is this idea that, it kind of represents having a bit of fear, having a bit of uncertainty when it comes to being able to make your choices. You might feel that you don't have the courage to sort of stand up for yourself, to be more self-assured when it comes to, working together with others. It's never, it's all right. It's just the first two cards, but it's sort of like more of a, you might play a back role to things as opposed to being more of a leader here. You might find yourself, God, I hate that I'm going to word this, like, you find yourself a little bit more submissive than, or subservient rather than sort of like taking the lead here. So yeah, self-confidence is low. You might not feel the ability to sort of take the lead on your own. When it comes to your career, God, that emote's also really good. The animation's just so good. The Edgeworth glasses drop. What we have for the career is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe too late to be a leader. I mean, I feel that sometimes too. I don't feel like I'm a leader in any capacity. I feel like I like being behind the leader, like supportive, but not exactly like the leading role, because then the pressure isn't on me to lead. But here for career, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse, which is this idea that, there might be a mentor figure in your life who's sort of guiding you, but you feel very uncertain in whether or not that mentor or that leader or that advisor is leading you in the right way. Feels like you want to forge your own path separate from what's being told to you, which I think is interesting compared to Strength. Like, I think these two lined up together makes a lot of sense. If you feel like you're not ready to take that leadership position, you're not ready to work together with other people, you might not feel comfortable, following your path in the way that you're told to follow it. In terms of health, it seems like a pretty positive card. I don't have much to say here. We have the Six of Wands right side up, which is a cause for celebration. I don't know if there's any, any conditions that you have, but it seems like in terms of your health, things will be going very positively. Maybe that'll be cause for celebration and cheer, but for the most part, it's just things will be going okay. Things will be fine for your health. Not a bad health year. Aren't we all sometimes just so sleepy? In terms of money, in terms of your finances or how potential finances in the future will go, we have Justice. So the way I see this in the upright position here is that, you know, you won't be gypped out of any money. You know, you'll be treated fairly. You'll get your equal share of recognition, your equal share of earnings in what you're working on. I don't know if you have a job right now. I think you're in school, if I'm not mistaken. So it seems like in terms of earning your keep, getting like the recognition, seems like, you know, you'll be treated fairly. You'll be treated with the recognition and the earnings that you just. When it comes to taking risks, seems like a good year for taking risks. Seems like, you know, and I think that lines up pretty well with the, what is it? It lines up pretty well with the Temperance card here, you know. This imbalance here, you know, sometimes you might focus on one thing more than another, and I think the Page of Pentacles here, if I can't believe addiction, is a sign that the risks that you take are pretty bright prospects. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a negative thing for you to indulge a little bit in taking risks, which is a good thing, because if that Temperance is right side up, if this was upside down as well, then that would imply that, you know, you're out of control and also you're taking too many risks. But it seems more of a positive experience this year in terms of the risks that you take. God. Yeah, I talked to a student recently, and he told me that he has almost every character. He has almost every 5-star in the game, and he has a couple of C5s, and I was like, how do you have the money to C5 everything? Like, how are you, like, a sophomore in high school and have the money to do that? I don't know where these kids get their funds from to play gacha games. It's actually terrifying. The overall advice, though, is the 5 of Swords, which it's... You don't use real money, at least. The 5 of Swords here in the advice is telling me that you want to make sure that you want to take pride in your victories, you know? It's a card that very much represents pride and victory, and I think it's sort of an idea of taking the momentum that you get from your victories and using them to help push you forward. That the small victories that you gain throughout the years are going to be motivation for you to keep on doing what you're doing. And I think if you can use that to propel yourself forward, then, I mean, it might not be that bad to, you know, sort of be imbalanced, right? Even if you're not doing things in moderation, if you're able to keep that motivation up and, you know, keep everything about you well enough, right? It doesn't seem like your health is going to be in any bad state this year. Then, you know, just use that motivation to keep propelling yourself forward. So that's my reading for you, Hit. Hopefully it helps. And I'm glad you think they are. I'm glad they apply to you. So now, I know Thunderbird has been out for a bit. I know Shoxy came in, but I don't think he's came back. Is anyone else on the now reading list in chat? Because if not, then I'm probably going to skip to someone who hasn't appeared in chat yet, because they really, I see. I'll skip to someone who isn't in chat yet, because I might as well cover this. So I'm not sure. Oh, welcome back, Shoxy. Alright, you're next then. I fucked that shuffle up so badly. Alright. Let's see. Shoxy. Let's get you here. Let's see. Just shuffle again, 5-head. Yeah, basically, just shuffle again, 5-head. Let's see. Who can we do? So, save this thing. Twitch icons are always so baby small. Hello? Save. I don't know what this icon is, but it looks tiny. Let's see. I will hurt you. Is that what it says? Ah, well. Let's see. Arrow Twitch. Why is it a transparent image? Okay. I will. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Anyways, don't do that. I would prefer you don't do that. I mean, I have a tag for that, but like, don't do that to me live on stream. Actually, you know what? It's happened to me live on stream before, so I can't even ask people to not do that. No problem, Kit. I'm glad you enjoyed the reading. Alright. Do this. So, Shock Z. Seeing this list get smaller and smaller is making me so happy. I thought it would never end yesterday, because, like, I did all the readings for the people who were on Twitter, who, like, commented on my Twitter posts, and then it just built so fast afterwards. Local tarot reader concerned that his tarot reading list is too long. Neuron activation meme. Let's do this. Let's close these out. And let's see. Shuffle for Shock Z a little more. And let's see how their year. Let's see if they'll succeed in all their Nuzlockes and Iron challenges. Let's shuffle. Okay. And then I know Thunderbird is very in and out, so hopefully I catch him at a point where he's here long enough to, like, sit through one reading and then get read for. I feel so bad, because he was there for, like, most of yesterday, and then, like, I was like, oh, I can almost read for you, and then he would, like, get off a break, and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, man. Let's get through this. And wait, there's not too many after that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're actually making good time here. We're actually making good progress here. Okay. I know some people on this list are streaming, so we'll see if they end up popping in after their streams. Oh, hey, Neo-Pessimist, it is. And I've also just been moving people to the top of the list as they appear in my chat. Because I want, you know, I might as well, yeah, it was humongous. I think overall, if I combined all the readings I've done, it probably amounts to nearly 40, which, all things considered, isn't too high of a number. But when you consider how long a reading takes, it kind of is a lot. Like, if we say that I average about 4 readings an hour, and we have 40 people, that's like 10 hours of reading. And I've been going through them a little bit faster today because, you know, some cards I don't have too much to say, and just, I think the more I do these spreads, the more I'm able to make things concise instead of verbose. Marathon reading. Just imagine a 12-hour tarot marathon. A tarot-thon, if you will. That sounds like an insane idea for a subathon, but I feel like unless I had a lot of people beforehand who, like, signed up for readings, that I don't know if I would be able to fill 12 hours. Like, the New Year's readings is one thing. Tarathon. Torathon. No, not the Torathon. Alright, anyway. So, Shock Z, what I have for your reading right now, the first card that we have is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a card of action. It's a card of moving forward. It's a card of, you know, facing your challenges head on. But it's in reverse. So that means that... yeah, get some honey tea. But the Knight of Swords in reverse sort of indicates that the challenge that you're facing head on is one that you might stumble through, right? That it won't be a very easy problem to get through. You might find yourself tripping and falling on yourself every now and then, but, you know, the knight always gets up and gets back on his horse. It's just... sometimes you just fall down some stairs, then you have to get back up the stairs, and you fall down the stairs. This is some kind of convoluted Girl Chan in Paradise reference. I hope you got it. Anyway, sometimes you'll stumble and fall, but your mind's in the right place, and you know what it is that you have to do. You just have to continue marching forward to get there. Overall, it's going to be a bit of a rough year, I think. Or part of it will be rough, but I think you'll make it out. I don't think it's going to be a bad fortune. I don't think this is bad luck. I think it might be like minor luck. Because you'll still have the tenacity to get through it. In terms of your collaborations and working with other people, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So what I'm getting here, how are these... I feel like the last few readings, so your Nuzlockes and Ironmans will fail. No, they'll just be... you'll just have a really hard time doing them. You'll get to the final gym with, like, exactly 6 Pokemon left. Or to the final chapter with just, like, 0 base deployment. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse tells me that when it comes to working with other people, that it's going to be very unpredictable, right? Whether it's you as the least common denominator or the other people that you're working with being unpredictable, the way you guys will mesh and the way you guys will have cohesion and be able to work together is going to be unpredictable. You know, it might go smoothly, it might go roughly, but a lot of this is just going to be left up to chance. Not very sure how things are going to go. Just make sure you're keeping your wits about you. Try to make the best of, you know, whatever group projects, whatever collaborative efforts you find yourself in. Do your best with them. When it comes to your career, you have the Queen of Pentacles here. And the Queen of Pentacles, you know, she's a symbol of money. She's a symbol of, you know, having material value, having things, having possessions, which makes sense for a career. You know, you get paid at your career. Queen of Pentacles. I had a nickel for every time I heard someone write pentacles as tentacles. I'd probably have several dollars at this point. Several. But in reverse, it's this idea that you might find yourself afraid or not really ready to approach the, you know, like you're the people in positions of power higher than you, like bosses or people who manage you. You might feel like in your career, in what it is that you do, whether it's like, you know, if you're in classes or if you're in a job, you might feel like it's hard to approach those kind of instructors or mentor figures, and you might find it to a point where it makes it really hard to progress forward. So make sure you do your best to, you know, talk to people, to communicate, and don't be too afraid to, you know, reach out. In terms of health, very straightforward card. We have the Hierophant, which tells me that however your health has been is how it will continue to be for now. You know, it doesn't signify anything good or bad. It just signifies that, you know, depending how your year was last year, more or less how it's going to be this year. In terms of money, in terms of, you know, Hierophant Green, yeah, is that a JoJo's reference? In terms of money, in terms of finance and wealth and fortune, seems like a very positive thing, you know. I guess I can't say positive, but like the kind of, in terms of money, we have no money. You might find yourself in finding victories, finding, you know, positive outcomes that might come at the expense of others. You know, the Five of Swords really represents, you know, victory at the expense of others. Kind of like, you know, like you win a tournament, you win all the money, but then other people can't win money because, you know, you just bodied them in a tournament. But it seems like there will be positive experiences that might be at the expense of others. And in terms of risk-taking, it seems like there might be people out there giving you advice on how you should approach those risks. And it seems like to those people, to the people who will give you advice, to the people who sort of tell you what you should be doing, how you should approach it, you're going to say, fuck you, because we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's very much a card of mentorship and like listening to others, learning from others. But in reverse, it's sort of a resistance to heed that advice. So it seems like you're very much going to go your own way when it comes to taking risks this year, which not necessarily a good or bad thing, but rather like if you're not listening to the advice of people who might have experience in the past with what you're taking risks on, you know, that might be a factor to consider. Now, the advice, you know, despite all the stumbling that you might do, despite the uncertainty with the people that you'll have to work with, you know, as rough as it might be to interact with others, it seems that you should try your best to harmonize with others. You should try your best to be, you know, you're the constant factor in all the interactions that you have with other people, you know? Every time that you interact with someone, you are this person being interacted with. So make sure that you are someone who is easy to talk to. Make sure that you don't give people a hard time if you don't need to give them a hard time. And I think if you're able to vibe with other people, if you're able to, you know, be good with other people, if you're able to communicate well with others, then I think the year should go pretty smoothly. So that's my reading for you, Shoxy. I hope it applies. I hope it was relevant. And then next up, we have Neo-Pessimist, who made a comment about the Queen of Tentacles, so I'm going to assume that they're here. Let me pull up your icon. Oh, there's no icon here. So we're just gonna pull up. blink. Blink Querent. That's the wrong image. Because we are not in a Persona-themed tarot board right now. We are on the regular one. Face, there we go. Wonderfully made by Nyx themselves. Let's put this to the bottom. And let's go up here. There we go. This is what we use when someone doesn't have an icon. There we go. Alright. You go. Yeah, it's like a talisman. It's like a coin, basically. Like a coin from, like, older times. Like a giant one. You can see that the pentacles in most of these images are very large. I want a pentacle. I feel like that would be cool to have, like, as a decoration. Just a giant pentacle. Alright, let's shuffle. And we'll see if anyone else is here afterwards. Otherwise, we might just marathon through the rest of these. I'll make sure to not go through Thunderbirds until he gets back, though, because I feel like he will probably be back at some point. It almost looked like overcooked bread. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like overcooked bread with a design on it. It's just got the star design. I keep on looking at the clock and thinking, I have work tomorrow, I have work tomorrow. In 24 hours, I will be at my work tomorrow. I guess 24 hours from now, I will be almost getting out of work. Still, cozy winter break is almost over. Sad. Sad. Alright, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Let me just clear out all of these. 3, 4, 5, 7. And we'll shuffle one more time. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay. So overall, okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing, unless it's opposite of what you want to do. But what we have here is the Six of Swords for the overall reading, which sort of indicates to me that you might feel like you want to move on from something in the past year, but it feels like you might feel halted. You might feel delayed in your ability to move forward. So I guess I would probably chalk that down to like bad to minimal luck. Not the greatest experience to, you know, want to move but not be able to move, but I guess I could. That's not the most unrelatable concept. You know, in this economy, moving, very difficult to do. But that's sort of what I'm seeing here as the sort of overall idea surrounding your year. In terms of collaboration, how do we keep on seeing these same cards? I feel like this is the third reading in a row that I've seen you pop up. And in reverse, no less. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. So, you know, it feels like with your wallet you can move to the underside of a bridge. Yeah. So, it feels like when it comes to celebration, or when it comes to collaborating with other people, you feel like a very low-key kind of thing. You feel like you're past the point of, like, big, spontaneous, giant group events. It feels like you want to sort of relax this year. You sort of want to be laid back. You want to sort of be more quiet when it comes to collaborating with other people. You don't want things to be like giant productions. You want things that when it comes to working with other people, that you want them to be a little bit more low-key. When it comes to your career, it seems like you might be met at a crossroads. You have the Two of Pentacles here, and you can see he's balancing out. He's bouncing off the screen at this point. He's balancing his pentacles inside this infinity symbol, you know? He has these objects, he's trying to keep them in balance. And when it comes to your career, it's this idea that, you know, you might be faced with options or, you know, decisions at your career. And, you know, you're weighing sort of how to balance this out, how to balance like what you have to do in order to sort of maximize, you know, your experience there, you know, to get most, money out of it, the most that you can out of it. So that's sort of the idea that I'm getting here, that it's going to be a good time. It's overall a positive reading for your career, but one that's going to be tricky to keep up with. In terms of health, definitely no stranger to seeing this card in this position. We saw it, I think yesterday we saw it once in this position, but I think in the past year I've seen it related to health more than a couple times. We have the Seven of Swords, which in the health position, I always see it as this idea of trying to force your body to get away with more than get away with. The idea of like overworking yourself and pushing yourself and trying to take shortcuts to recover before your body's actually fully recovered. And sometimes we want to overwork ourselves. Sometimes we want to do more than our body wants us to do because sometimes it's just we feel obligated to work harder even if we need to relax. So make sure you don't push yourself too hard. In terms of money, you have the King of Swords, which I see the King of Swords very much as a sort of leadership figure, as an authoritative figure, someone who has control, someone who knows what to do. Hey, Thunderbird. If you're able to stay, I should be able to do your reading next. You have the King of Swords here. So I see it as a very positive symbol in regards to money. Not the easiest symbol to work with, but one that is guiding you to the ideas, to the path that you should be taking. I feel like the king knows what he's doing. You have 15 minutes? I should be able to do that. The king knows what he's doing, so you have a lot of swords ready for the war. So he'll be able to guide you where it is that you need to go and tell you what it is that you need to do in order to stay afloat. Yeah, the little doodle. I use it for when someone doesn't have any icon on Twitter or Twitch. Thank you again for that, Nyx. We have Death as the card representative of gambling. Let me shout out Nyx for being the one who did doodle this. Let's all follow Nyx. Alright, if you don't want it, then I won't. And thank you for the follow, Wormsy. So, in regards to gambling, death is what we have here, which indicates that however you approach your risk-taking, however it is that you approach the way you take risks and, face your challenges, you're gonna find a bit of a drastic change here, which I think lines up with this idea of, wanting to move forward. If you feel stuck, unable to move forward, then changing how you take your risks might be a way to sort of get past that barrier, to get past that block. And the advice that I have for you, Neo-Pessimist, is that if you feel stuck and unable to move, feel like, there's a lot of things that you have to work on, if you feel like, there's a lot of things that you have to balance, then this is a year that you have to be more active. This is a year that you have to be the one taking action, taking the fight to others. We have the Seven of Wands here representing that, You have to defend yourself, you have to fight for your life, you have to make sure that, if there's things that you want to do, if you have goals that you need to do, then you have to fight for it. You have to be more active in approaching those challenges. I'm sorry to hear that you can't Mimi Sleepy, Kuro. I'll try to talk as soothingly as possible, but maybe if you listen to me doing tarot readings, you can get to the honk shoo. Maybe. I've heard some people on the European side of the world like to use my streams to fall asleep too. Some people have told me that I have a nice and soothing voice, which I don't know about that. Like that crossed with the way that I laugh, I feel like they can both be true, but I feel like it would be hard to sleep when I'm constantly bursting out in laughter. Honkshoe dimensions. Alright. Let's see if we can do Thunderbird's real quick. Thunderbird. Is that right? That. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. And I find Thunderbird Prime. Thank you, Wiggly. Thunderbird. Oh, that your Twitter? Thunderbird channel. Here it is. Here it is. Here. I'm following you. Why? These are always hard because I just find that I'm not following people. Alright, keep yourself hydrated. I will. Thank you, Wiggly. Oh, let me also... Yeah, let me spawn the Wiggly. This. Do I love tarot? They taste like good tarot, chewy. I'm glad you like eating the tarot cards. I'm glad you find them to be delicious. You know, sometimes you gotta just get one. You gotta get a deck with the right flavor. Let's just put you over here, and let's not dawdle for too long because I want to make sure that Zach can hear his entire reading. So. Okay. We got this. We got this. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do this. But I hope you're having a good day, Wormsy. Real VTuber moment. That, and let's see. It's like, there's so many people that I know, and then I'm like, wait, I'm not following you, and then I just realize, oh, it's because I see your tweets from everyone else that follows you. Okay. Alright, let's see. Overall, okay. I think this is a pretty solid reading already. So the King of Wands is someone who knows that they are very stable and grounded and down to earth. You know, they have their bearings together. They know what they want to do. They know what their goal is. They know what they are residing over. I would say that's a very good luck fortune. I'd say that the year is going to go very nicely. In regards to collaboration, you know what you want, but sometimes it might feel that to get what you want, you do need to defend yourself. You do need to fight for what you need. And that's why we see the 7 of Wands in the right side up position here. There's a lot of ways we could read that, but it's this idea that in order to be able to sort of collaborate and work the way you want, there might be some, you might have to stand up for yourself. You might have to put yourself forward first. You might have to be more proactive, and, you have to put your foot down, essentially. You have to take the initiative in order to put yourself out there to get that collaboration. Hey, Kuro, thank you for the head pat. I'll put that on after I finish this reading. So the next card that we have for career, for how we want to approach the coming year, we have the 4 of Cups. So the 4 of Cups is a card of introspection. It's a card of meditation, of thinking. This is a period of your time, of your life, where you're really thinking about how you want to move forward in approaching career. Head patting Elliot has a fantasy of yours personally. Glad you think so. It's a meditative card, thinking about how do you want to move forward with your career, whether it's your job or with VTubing. How do you want to move forward as in this realm that we're residing in? And, some people do a lot of introspection, but I feel like there's a lot of meditation that needs to go on when we think about doing things like this. In terms of health, it seems that we might be a little bit restless. We might be a year where you feel like there's a lot you want to do, but you want to make sure that you don't work yourself too hard to the state of being unable to rest. I've found that I have not been able to sleep recently for the past few days until like way late, which I might have fucked up my sleep schedule before work. That's fine, we'll get used to it. But that's what the 4 of Swords here represents, just a sort of restlessness, unable to relax, which might, have health disadvantages. In terms of money, it seems to be a relatively positive reading. We have the 8 of Pentacles here, and the 8 of Pentacles represents, the mastery of a craft, that when it comes to getting money, that you know what you're doing to earn your keep, and you're getting better and better at it, you're working at it, and you're finding the satisfaction in working, Who doesn't put... Yeah, exactly. Today's the last day before we get back to the academy, though, so... not the best time to do that. Not the best time for it to not have my shit together. But in terms of risk-taking, we have Temperance. And I think Temperance right side up is a very good card to have in the gambling position, in the risk-taking position, because it's this very calculated card. It's a card that represents, you know, balancing out what you do. You know when to take your risks, you know when to step back and be more safe with your choices, and that's a good thing, you know. It seems that the risks that you take moving on into this year are ones that will be very calculated, or at the very least, ones that are going to be balanced out, you know. You win some, you lose some, but you're going to do your best. You know, you're not going to be afraid to go too far with a risk, but at the same time, you're not going to keep on going with those risks if they don't work out the first time. And now the advice. So, like I said, it seems like a very controlled year. It seems like a year that you sort of know what you want, know how you want to approach things. The advice card here is stating that, you know, sometimes even when you think you have everything figured out, even when you know what you want to do and sort of how you want to approach it, it's not bad to let a little bit of chaos, a little bit of entropy into your life. And the Wheel of Fortune reverse is sort of a reminder of that. Sometimes, even if you're very sure of what you want and how you want to approach it, it's not a bad thing every now and then, especially with the way, like, you know, we have Temperance here. Sometimes, especially with, like, taking risks and moving forward, you might want to see what happens if you let go of control for a little bit and see how things kind of spiral out for a little bit, you know, just as a treat. Sometimes you might be surprised by the outcomes when you just say, fuck it, we ball. Sometimes you say, fuck it, we ball, and then we just get something happens. Alright. So that's my reading for you, Thunderbird. I hope you were able to stay for the entire thing. But let's see. Is there anyone on the list? I think that takes care of everyone who was on the list that has popped in. I know some people are streaming right now, or no problem. I'm glad you were able to stay. I'm glad I was able to read fast enough for you to hear all of that. I don't like speeding through it, but sometimes, I mean, it's not a problem to speed through the entire thing. Let me tilt this hand like this. There we go. Caffeine and bad decision make for a sleepy workday. This is kind of... Well, let's do that. Smaller head pat. Am in fact the head pat wiggly member, or one of the many. I have a wiggly, I have a head pat. Anyway, let's see. So we have Ceci, we have Hazmat, Gunpai, Chanyu, Katie, Vestox, Naomi, Sleipnir, Bunzel, and Savvy. No problem. I feel like I should. Sometimes I like miss people following me, and then I just never actually hit the follow button. Like sometimes, like while I'll do this, I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not following you," and follow back. All right. So let's see. I guess we'll just go with take the list from the top, and if anyone else pops into the chat, then we can see them. We can move them, bump them up to the top. So we'll go with Bessie. Okay. That Cyclops. God, that is such a cute icon. Happy Cyclops, happy Cyclops, happy Cyclops. Okay, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more readings to do. Let's see, I think I can do 10 readings in 2 hours. You have people that you've watched for so long but never followed to the point you're scared to follow at all. I mean, there's some people who I know who just like have different presences on Twitter and Twitch and Discord. Like, there's this one girl who I found. You watch them for like 3 months without following. God damn it. There's like this girl that I know on Twitter who like does Fire Emblem to some other variety games too, and she's literally just me but female. I'm pretty sure. Like her Twitter bio says, math teacher turned VTuber, and she also plays a lot of Fire Emblem. She doesn't do fortune reading though, but she has like a very big following on Twitch. I think she's partner. I think she hit partner like recently, but then like on Twitter she has like no presence. She has like 300 followers. I was like, huh. Some people just focus on different things, I guess. Them Elliot. Like, I'm pretty sure one of her models is just the it's her model in the Three Houses Academy outfit, which literally very good design choice. The female Academy outfit is incredible. Actually, the male Academy outfit's also really snazzy too. But to make your entire live 2D just that design, that's dedication to a series. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. And let's see how Ceci's year is gonna go. I know she did her New Year's resolution stream yesterday. I saw her write a couple of goals on her. I know she posted on Twitter. I saw some like goals she wrote on the wish boards, the Japanese like wood blocks. So let's see. Let's see if we can help see if her year will go as she hoping it'll go. Let's see what the cards have to say about little Cyclops. Okay. So overall, Ceci's year will go. Okay, that's a pretty solid start. I'm glad that I'm getting a card that doesn't say you're gonna die. You know, I love being able to start tarot readings with a nice card. That's always good. So we're starting with the Chariot. And the Chariot is a card that represents someone who has control over their life. Someone who knows what they want and how to take the reins in order to get it. Yeah, no problem, Thunderbird. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry it took so long to line up the ability to give you your reading while you were on your break. But anyway, the Chariot represents taking the reins on your life and the conditions around you, and sort of being the one to guide it, being able to move forward with your goals. And in regards to collaboration, okay, very positive. Seems like a lucky reading so far. I know we're only 2 cards in, and I usually say when it's a bad reading that it's only 2 cards in, but we take the dubs when we see them. In terms of collaboration with others, it looks like Ceci's collabs will be pretty good, you know? We had the Ten of Cups, which very much is a card of celebration, a card of, you know, being with other people and being happy with other people. In terms of career, we have... And usually, for most people, if it's a VTuber and they're asking about career, I usually see this mostly related to their stream career. And we have the Two of Wands here, which is a card of waiting. It's a card that represents the expectation of something coming. It represents... you know, expecting things to come and sort of just knowing that something will be coming soon and waiting for that. You know, sometimes we go about our lives... Actually, no. I feel like a lot of people sort of have things that they're waiting for in their lives, and it's just... life just ends up being about waiting for the next big event, you know? Like, I guess for me, I've had this break that I've been waiting for a bit, and that's sort of been the whole, like, I've been waiting for this. I'm sure Ceci has her own things going on that she has been waiting for as well. In terms of health... Actually, that's not bad. I thought it was bad for a second, but no, it refers to bad things, but in itself is not inherently bad. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. So in regards to health, it seems that there might have been, you know, bad times in the recent year, things that might have gone really roughly. You know, you might have felt like you were lost at some kind of loss or defeat recently, but this is the year of healing. This is a year of recovery, of, you know, if things went really badly before, that this is a time for you to heal and for those defeats and those losses to sort of get better, you know, to move past what happened. In terms of money, we have the Empress, which I think seeing this in the money You know, the Empress is very much a card of power, a card of, you know, ruling, a card of being in charge. And seeing the Empress here means that I think you will be comfortable when it comes to this in the future. You'll be able to sort of get on your feet and have the money that you need, have the funds and the resources and the wealth that you'll need in the coming year. It's a very positive card. It's a sign of, you know, good tidings, good things to come, and a sign of being able to, of caring and nurturing. Hopefully, you know, whether or not the Empress represents you or someone who will be able to take care of you, that's what I'm sort of seeing for the money. In terms of gambling and taking risks, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands. Flip this upside down. So in terms of risk-taking, I see this more as a warning. You know, it's very easy for things to spiral out of control. The Knight of Wands represents action, about moving forward, about, you know, taking charge while also being grounded in the situations that you're at. When it's in reverse, it means that it's very easy to sort of fall out of that, you know, grounding. It's easy to sort of, you know, take risks that you don't need to take unnecessary risks. And it's sort of a warning against that, to not, you know, to watch for any gambles or any risks that you might take. Don't jump into things head first. I think this is a year that you should play safe as opposed to take big risks. And the advice, kind of funny that we have two back-to-back knights here, is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is, in the advice page here, you know, we have, or in the advice slot, we have the Chariot representing, you know, taking control of the situation around you, sort of being in charge of your life this year. The Knight of Cups is a sign to make sure that you keep moving forward and you sort of let your heart and your emotions and that creative energy flow through you and use it to help push, you know, your career and your pursuits further. So just keep on moving forward and to, you know, use that creative energy to drive you. Hey Alto, welcome. Glad to see you stopping by. We're just reading now. I think I've done readings for everyone that has stopped by so far. So now we're just doing the readings, just going down the list. Hopefully I don't get ambushed by everyone that I read for and then they come in after I read for them. That would happen to me, but I wouldn't be surprised. Alright. So that's my reading for you, Ceci. Hopefully, if you see it in the future, if you come back to this VOD, hopefully it helps. Hopefully you find it insightful. And let me just shuffle the deck here. We'll see what's next. Hazmat's next. Hazmat, goodbye. We're actually pretty close to the end here. We're pretty close. So let's see who we will get next is Hazmat. We'll just go down the list. We'll get the Slime Man next. Slime. Okay. And we'll shuffle. And seeing this list get smaller and smaller is just... it's very nice. It's very, very nice to see it getting smaller. So we have Hazmat. His icon's so funny. This guy's still stuck in 2020. He's still got a Santa hat on and everything. He's still wearing Christmas hats. That's not small, it's average. Yeah, I guess so. It's got a... Hazmat's got a good personality. Hazmat's a good guy. Can we make this list bigger? Yes, we can. Now the now reading is the same size as the list font. Look at that. Look at that. Our cube is finally decreasing in size. Alright, let's clear this out. We'll get the Hazmat next. And if you see your name on the list, if you're just coming in, then feel free to just send a chat message and then I'll bump you up to the top of the list. I don't want to keep people waiting. I'm just going through the rest of the queue right now. And then I'll probably upload this to YouTube before I go onto my trip and make sure to timestamp everything so that if you're watching in the future, I guess I would have to cut this and put it at the start of the VOD, but I guess also just going to the VOD. Combined with last stream, right now we are on hour 6, yes. We are on hour 6. It's gonna be about 8 hours of reading total, which was about as much time as we spent last year doing it as well. But I think I did more readings. I think my readings were a little bit longer because I might have been talking a bit slower and more verbose. But this year, I think I have gotten a bit better with reading. Because also, the New Year's tarot readings I did last year, I think were my first, like, dedicated tarot streams. Like, you know, I debuted in 2020 and said that I really like doing tarot readings, and I had a tarot reading redeem, but it didn't get redeemed too often, so I was like, what if I just made a dedicated tarot stream? And, you know, there's some of like the most active streams that I get, so I'm really glad that A, I decided to do that, and B, I'm glad that people like getting tarot readings enough that I can do these regularly and expect like people to show up. I always like worry at the start of them though that it's like, oh no one's gonna show up, and then like, you know, someone shows up, gets a reading, and then like I get like 3 requests during one reading, and I'm like, oh, people do like getting tarot readings. But let's see. To start off your year, a bit rough here. We have 9 of Cups in reverse here. You know, the 9 of Cups right side up is typically a card representing more generosity. In reverse, it feels more of a reluctant card that doesn't offer as much. Sorry, I turned around for a second. Yeah, the 9 of Cups is like, as you can see that the guy is sitting in front of the cups, having a bunch of things, but in reverse, it's more like having a lot, but not being sure if you're able to give as much. Which, I don't know, maybe some things might happen in the year that sort of cause things to end up like that. I know Hazmat is super, always very kind and generous, and like, very giving of his time, but, you know, sometimes things happen, sometimes things get rough, and, you know, sometimes you need to take a step back, you know. If things get rough, you might need to keep a bit more to yourself than you used to be able to. So I would see this more as like a bad luck kind of fortune, unfortunately. I'm sorry, where's the image? Yeah, one of those moments. In terms of collaborations, we do have a pretty solid card here. We have the Knight of Pentacles. And with the Knight of Pentacles here, it seems more that you'll be more active in interacting with other people and collaborating with other people, which I think is a good thing, you know, that you're taking the steps to move forward to talk to people. I definitely know that you do a lot to collab with other people and work with other people. You have the whole like Hollywood Squares things that you do, and that's really cool. And it seems like that's going to keep on going in terms of how you're able to, you know, talk with other people and pull other people in. And I think that's a good sign for moving forward. In terms of your career, we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, where is she? She, again, is a symbol of, you know, being grounded, of being stable. And I guess I see it here in terms of, you know, career, of having that inspiration, having that insight, having that, you know, the ideas to help push you forward as you continue streaming and VTubing. The Queen of Wands is a symbol representing that you have that creative guiding energy, that, you know, that grounded, stable, like understanding what you can and can't do, and knowing essentially how to approach those situations. It's a very courty reading. What we have for health, very awkward card to read if I'm going to be honest. We have the King of Pentacles here in reverse, which that is already, like, the King of Pentacles being in this reading for health is already a strange position already, let alone being read in reverse. So, you know, the King of Pentacles is someone, you know, he's in charge of his domain of material value, of money, And being the King of Pentacles, you know, he has he has influence, he has power, but in reverse, it might represent sort of an instability or sort of like loss of that power. Like, in regards to health, it might feel that there might be things that happen to you in this coming year that you feel like are very much out of your control. You might feel like, you know, things will be happening to you, like things that come like back to back to back. You know, like, I don't want to wish or predict sickness onto you, but that's sort of the idea I get, which might also go in turn with the overall reading card here, actually, that, you know, if you feel like it's harder for you to give to others, it might be because you literally don't have the energy to provide to others because of your health. So hopefully, you know, that's not the case. Hopefully your health manages to stay in at a higher level, but that might be the warning that's coming. In terms of money, it feels like we have another ill tiding here. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. Ooh. I am pulling this card way off. I thought I could drag it back down, but I couldn't. You know, I've said this before, it's a card that symbolizes unity and gathering of people, but with this in reverse, it's sort of a sign that, you know, when it comes to getting your money or finances, that you might not feel as connected to other people when you earn this money, when you earn what you've been getting. You might feel more isolated, I guess, or feel solitary when it comes to these kind of finances. When it comes to taking risks, though, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Ace of Swords here, and you know, the Ace of Swords right side up tends to be a symbol of triumph, a symbol of, you know, knowing what it is that you want, knowing what your goals are, and achieving it, having that sort of focus and clarity. But in reverse, it's sort of more not insecure, it's more chaotic, it's more uncertain. There is a goal in mind, but it's not one that you feel like you have a direct, clear pathway to. Which is interesting because, like, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of, you know, feeling like things aren't as easy as they were in the past. This is a very ominous reading. I'm sorry, Hazmat. Let's see what the advice is, though. Okay. At least they throw us one last bone here. The advice is the Four of Wands, which I've seen here before, like just a couple minutes or hours ago. So the Four of Wands as the advice is saying that, you know, like I said at the start, that you might feel like you're not able to give a lot of yourself to others. You know, you might feel like you have to hold back. Might have to not be as giving as you were. The advice here is that, you know, even if you don't feel like you can give to others, don't forget that you can also rely on others and lean on others to help you out as well. To not shoulder burdens alone, and to remember that other people care about you and also want to help you out when you need that help. Don't be afraid to ask for it when you need it. So that's my reading for you, Hazmat. I hope it helps. If Hazmat is watching this in the future, I guess. But there we go. Let's see. I don't think anyone else has popped into chat to get a reading. So we're just gonna continue going down the list, and we'll go to Gunpei next. Let's see, there's a lot of people who are very giving by default. Yeah. Definitely been there, done that kind of type B. Still have a hard time asking people for help. That is just because that is who I am as a person. You know, a lot of people are very much just, like, people like that just are more than willing to saw off their leg for someone, but then would be hard pressed to ask someone to borrow 50 cents. It's something I've tried to work on as well. Like Gunpei. Oldest of 3 plus dad friend vibes. Yeah. Gunpei. Let's get her here. Do this. Let's get her. There she is. There we go, there we go. You just I didn't even shuffle the deck. What am I doing? Let me get this deck shuffled. Then, yeah. Seeing this list dwindle is filling me with so much emotion, so much power, so much happiness. Alright. I'm probably going to push Katie to the last one because I know that she stopped by earlier. I know that she's streaming, so I know that she's at least online in some capacity. I've seen her like pop into my stream when she's done streaming a couple times before, like regardless of whether or not it's a raid. So I'm gonna probably just reach her last, or see if she'll pop in. The other people, I do not know what they're currently doing. I don't think anyone else is streaming. I don't think I see Sleipnir or Bunzel or Savvy stream. I'll leave Katie to the end. Everyone else is in some unknown miscellaneous limbo. Always nice to see like what other people are doing. It always feels weird. I've like seen some people who will like be streaming and then they'll like be also messaging people on Discord at the same time. And I'm like, focus on your stream. Like if I have Twitch windows open because I needed to pull icons, it's like, oh yeah, I can just easily look to the side here. I also guess some people have like triple monitor setups or something, so it's easier for them to like have Discord open on another window or another monitor. For me, I'm like trying to like maximize my screen real estate here. Okay. So let's see how Gunpei's reading is gonna go. Clear this all out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. 4 1080p monitor gang. Now, how do you orient those? Do you like do it like a 2x2? Do you do it by like a 1x4 or 4x1? You like do a 4 vertical? I feel like a 4 vertical setup would be really funny to look at. Just a lot of neck tilting up and down. Yeah, I also wish that would be nice. Okay. This is a very positive reading right off the bat. This is a very nice reading. You're so close. I am. I know. We're almost there. So this is probably what I would say is like best luck fortune. Like, there are a couple cards that just universally scream as best. I'm gonna do what I did last year, Nyx. I'm gonna do my reading for this during my anniversary stream, during my 2-year, just like last year. So that is when you'll see the Elliot reading. You have a 3-span with the 4th being a touchscreen. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, let's go here. What? Wrong thing. So the card that we have to lead off this fortune is the Sun right side up. Let me take a drink. So right side up, the Sun very much is a bright card. It's a card that tells you that, you know, good things will come to you. It's just a very much a card of like happiness and a sign of just overall good things. Positivity, success, joy, you know, a happy year ahead of you. Hopefully that is the case, you know. The Sun very much is a sign of that. Anyway, remember when I said that this is a best luck reading? Anyways, your sign for collaboration is the 9 of Wands. So, joy and positivity, right? When it comes to collaboration, it seems like, you know, in the past you might have had to deal with some people that might not have been the easiest to deal with, but you've learned from that. And, you know, sometimes we all go through our challenges, we all go through our trials, and it seems like this year you might be a little bit more wary, a little bit more selective of who you choose to collab and interact with, because, you know, you've interacted with people before and you've had like good and bad experiences, and you've learned from those, and you've learned how you want to sort of interact with others. And it's not a bad thing. I guess like the bad thing is what happened in the past, which is seen by the guy kind of just struggling to stand up. But it's a card of, you know, wariness and just making sure that you choose to interact with who you know you can trust. In terms of career, we have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. in reverse. Just flip him upside down. So the Six of Pentacles in reverse is a card that represents, you know, not being able to give as much as you want to. So in terms of your career, I see it more like you might not be receiving as much as you would like to receive. You might not feel that you're able to get or give as much out of it as you want to, which, you know, sometimes it just is how it is, you know. Sometimes you're just happy to be working where you are, even if it doesn't give you, you know, as much as you want to get out of it. You still have a place to work. You still have a community. You still have something that you can be doing. In terms of health, have just as wow. Remember, like, it's really interesting because like the overall card is supposed to be like the strongest card in the reading, and everything else surrounding this feels very dramatic and negative as compared to the original card that we have here. But in terms of health, we have Justice, which in terms of health, it might mean that there might be health things that come up in the future that, you know, you feel like you're trying to do your best to, you know, remedy or heal up. And you might feel that the resources around you aren't helping you the way they should, you know. Sometimes doctors and other, like, medical facilities don't give you the support that you need. And maybe something might happen where you feel like, you know, it shouldn't be this much of a pain to deal with, but life will just throw a curveball at you. Hopefully you're able to dodge that curveball. Hopefully, you know, it's not the worst experience, but it's something to watch out for. In terms of money, what the fuck is this reading? Okay, in terms of money, we have, which this actually connects pretty well with the career card here. We have the Ten of Wands right side up. And the Ten of Wands right side up represents working very hard and feeling like you're shouldering a lot on your own. And I think that connects really well with this feeling of not getting or receiving as much as you would like to the point where it feels like you're having to shoulder a lot in order to sort of, you know, get what you need to get. In terms of gambling, in terms of taking risks, we have the Hermit. And again, the Hermit is a card of, you know, reflecting, more like introspection, but in reverse, it's sort of this feeling of isolation. It's sort of this feeling of, you know, introspecting or, you know, withdrawing to yourself to the point where you feel more isolated and less reflective. You kind of just feel separate from everyone. And in regards to risk taking, I think it just serves as a reminder or a warning that you might find yourself taking risks that make you feel like disconnected from other people, make you feel that, you know, you're carrying a lot of risk on your own, which again also relates to this here. So you might be doing a lot of things that are difficult for you to do and are hard for you to do, but, you know, you just have to remember that you aren't alone. I mean, I know you have a community, I know you have a server that you run with Retsu, and I don't remember who the other person is, but you have like V-Bricks surrounding you. You want to make sure that you don't stay isolated and that you talk things over with the people that you're close to before you keep yourself too far away from others. I will drink up and stretch in a second. And then, that's not the card. The last card that we have here is, the advice is the Lovers in reverse, which I think is an interesting advice card. The way I sort of interpret this, if I could find it, having the Lovers in reverse as the advice seems to be like a warning that, you know, things will be going well, but you don't want to like keep your head up too high. You want to make sure that you're also keeping a level head around you, you know, taking in the successes and the joys around you, but not letting things fall apart without you even noticing that they are going badly, right? It's interesting because the overall card is such a positive one that the way I see it, like, if it's so positive, like all these negative things, you want to make sure that you're thinking about the situation that's surrounding you, about the things that's going on around you without losing sight. You know, you can be happy, you can be positive, and you can be filled with that joy, but it's also important to make sure that you don't forget about the people around you or unintentionally take on too much in order to try to keep that positivity. Again, it's important to confide and ask for help with others before, instead of like going too far on your own. That's my reading for you, Gunpei. Alright, so let me take a nice little stretch, and we'll go and see the next reading, which is for Chunyu, or for Jody as she likes to be called. Stretch. And let me take a sippy. I know if no one got me, Nix and Mero make sure that I drink and stretch. I think if I were to look at like the amount of like drink up and stretch redeems, that it would probably mostly be Mero and Nix. Brown, thank you, Bodega. Jokes on all of you, I've been alternating between coffee and water this whole time. Drink up does not specify hydration. That was a joke because there's some streams where I will be drinking alcohol, where I'll be doing a drinking stream. So drink up specifically just means put liquid in your mouth. It doesn't say water in the redeem. It's just whatever beverage is in front of me. Another dinky, okay. It's the water of life, the miraculous bean soup. Yeah, there's I went to an Asian market the other day, and I saw that they had my favorite brand of instant coffee, and my family had gotten me some of this instant coffee from the Philippines because they had just gone like recently, and we had just run out. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize that they sold this here. So now I have instant cappuccino coffee. It's from a brand called Kopiko, and it is. Oh, it's so good. I did not get mochi, actually. Because we went on New Year's Eve. We could have gotten mochi, actually. Why didn't I do that? I mean, it wasn't a Japanese market. It was a Korean market, so I don't think I saw, like, the traditional New Year's mochi there. You need to add... That's too many. 5 to 6 spoonfuls is too much. I don't need caffeine. In fact, I usually prefer drinking decaf. But I just like the flavor of coffee. Like, if I could drink like Monsters and Red Bulls and coffee without caffeine, probably wouldn't. Oh yeah, they don't always have mochi in a plastic packet you can grill. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I think my favorite, I usually put like cream and maybe sometimes sugar, but usually cream and milk is my go-to for coffee. Anyway, there is Jody. I-A-N-N-U, Chunyu. There's a girl. Why is it so small? Why is your icon so small, Jody? Anyway, there we go. Your issue is Monster that you prefer the taste for legal. Yeah, I prefer the taste, and I would rather that it have no caffeine actually at all. My preference would be that there's no caffeine in Monster, because I like the taste. I like the green drink. I like the green. Actually, I can't even say that I like the green because the Monster that I drink the most is the white zero sugar Monster. I really am just that image of like the boomer on the lawnmower drinking the white Monster Energy. That's literally just me. Okay, let's see how Jody's year is gonna go. Let's see if she'll be freed from Walmart hell. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sounds like I'm counting the licks of a Tootsie Pop. So we start with the first card that we start with for this reading is a card in the reverse position. It is the... Where are you? I can't I do my alphabet reps? It's the Lovers in reverse. Let me just make sure this is all. It's the Lovers in reverse. So, the way I see the message here for the year, for the overall message, is that there might be some relationships that are broken in this year. You know, the Lovers doesn't necessarily talk about romantic love. It's relationships with people in general, whether it be platonic or romantic. I probably could, actually. So that's sort of what I see here, that a big change, a big thing that'll be happening this year is, you know, changes, whether it's broken relationships or just shifts in relationships. In terms of collaboration, in terms of working with other people, we have Ten of Wands in reverse. So when it comes to working with other people, it seems like this is the year where you say, fuck it. Sort of the idea of like dropping pretenses and letting go of, you know, certain relationships, which I think is interesting, putting these two together. You know, sometimes like you put up with someone for a really long time and then you're like, you know what, I don't have to put up with this shit any longer, and you just let go. You just say, I'm not gonna deal with that, and you sort of just say, yeah, no, I'm done with you. That's what I see for your collaboration. In terms of your career, it seems like there are positive signs moving forward. We have the Ace of Cups, which tells me that in regards to your career moving forward, that good things are to come. Especially if this card would stay on the screen. But it's a very positive sign, you know. Good things will come. So maybe it's like a promotion, or maybe you'll find a new job prospect, but it seems like a very positive sign for your career this year. In regards to your health, there might be people telling you certain things that you don't want to hear, or people giving you advice that you don't believe in. And it seems like your health might be different from what people tell you, or what people think your health is. So it's always important to, you know, sometimes they tell you to listen to your doctors, but make sure that you just make sure that you're okay, right? If people are wrong, then they're wrong, but just make sure that you find someone who can tell you what's going on with your health if anything weird happens with your health. In terms of money, this is a treat yourself kind of moment, I think, because we have Hanged Man right side up. This is a very much a live for yourself kind of moment, that, you know, instead of giving up a lot of things for other people, it seems like this year when it comes to your finances that you're going to do a lot of things for yourself. You're going to be able to focus on yourself more instead of focusing on helping others out. In terms of risk-taking, it seems like there might be some decisions that you make that are really hard for you to come to terms with, that are really hard for you to deal with, and it might leave you feeling very confused. In terms of taking risks, I would say you might want to hold off on that. You might want to be a little bit more on the safe side this year. It seems like taking risks and gambling might lead to, you know, a more dangerous outcome, a more uncertain outcome. With the Star in reverse, it's very much a sign of, you know, like a test of faith kind of thing. Like, if gambling goes wrong, if those risks go wrong, you still want to take another step towards that direction. Just make sure that, you know, your faith doesn't get tested too hard. And what we have as the final outcome for this reading is the Four of Cups right side up. So I think in relation to, you know, this whole reading, this whole like changing of dynamics and relationships, you want to make sure that you're certain about the decisions that you make when it comes to changing those dynamics, when you're ready to approach how you want to deal with those relationships. There's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of self-love that seems to be happening in this year. But you also want to make sure that you don't burn your bridges too short, I guess. Make sure that, you know, you spend enough time thinking about the decisions that you want to make before you make them. That's my reading for you, Chun-Yu. Hopefully it helps. Well, let's shuffle this deck up a little bit more. And then we'll get to the next reading. Who is... Oh, wait. I didn't even have the name properly. I didn't delete that. I was gonna move Katie to the end. Put her at the end there. And I guess we'll go to Vestox next. So Vestox and then Naomi, who was a first-time chatter who appeared. I don't know if she's gonna reappear in my chat or anything, but I guess if she does pop in, she'll be able to see her reading. You know, you ever just hit follow on someone and then never see them ever again? They just disappear from the aether. Also, I think I missed Marcus's drink up redeem, so I'm gonna drink a little bit more. There we go. Many such cases. Sometimes you just get hit with the follow button and then you just disappear from that person's life forever. So Vestox. Do they have a Twitter? This looks Vestox. Wrong. Don't think I see a Vestox that I know. I wish that like the people. Yeah, no, I can look up Vestox on Twitter, but all I get is suggested by from Crest's art. Also, that's really funny. Raiders. I like that Vestox sometimes will raid people and people are like, thank you for the raid. And I'm pretty sure Vestox doesn't raid, or doesn't stream actually. I've seen him do like joke like one person raids before. I don't think Vestox has a Twitter. So we are going to go to twitch.tv/Vestox. So I have seen him in chat. I've done it before when I follow someone streaming at a different time from your normal. Yeah. That's, I guess, I mean, that happens to me when I'm on like summer break and stuff. I definitely have people who follow me during the summer and then I don't see them when I stream during the school year, or vice versa, where I'll stream during the school year and then I'll change my hours during the summer because I just like stream later. Or I guess last year, in 2022, when I did streaming over the summer, I did stream very close to my original times. It was just only like an hour earlier. So it's not like that different, I guess. Kill. This is a good icon. This is a very good icon. The Neko arc with the monster. It reminds me of the edit that I made of myself with that. Wait, where is it? I made this like a long time ago. Let me pull this shitpost up here. Where is it? Post. My shitpost folder. Kill.png. It's the same image. I love how absolutely distorted Vroid faces can get. Like, it's the same face. Kill. And then I love the matching image, obviously if you have the kill image, you also have to have the live. The faces on the original version, like the weird, like the Germa looking guy, it's so good. This is just the Vroid, and the Vroid, like, it just goes to show how good like the textures are that Kenji did on the Vroid. I love when Vroids look like drawings. Like, I know at some angles, like the model that Kenji did for Crimbo look really good. Oh yeah, especially when it's on a smaller quality, it's even easier. It's even harder to see that it's not a drawing. But like Rael did models for herself for, I think, Koki and me. And like, especially like the Koki model that Rael did, like some angles it just looks like a 2D model. Like it impresses me when people can go, like when people just have a really good grasp of Vroid. Alright. I don't know who else does Vroid really well, at least within my immediate circles. I'm sure there's also like really good Vroid modelers. Someone assumed my house will stop on a diamond, maybe. Yeah. My house will stop on a dime. Are you saying like my house stopped? That I ran into a wall in my house? Alright, well, Vestox, let's see what the reading we have for him is. Oh, I'm sorry, Gunpai! If you just open up the VOD, I actually just did your reading, like 2 readings ago. If you just click on my name and go to the videos, you could probably rewind and see the recording. That's why I have the giant circle here. So when you see me switch to your circle, you'll be able to see the reading that I did for you. Your reading was a bit confusing. It started off really good, but then there were a lot of weird omens. But overall, I think it wasn't a bad reading. You don't need to apologize for it. I know you're on vacation. You're on like a hiatus until, I think you said February. I assume you're just busy with like New Year stuff, so you don't need to apologize for waking up late. I'm gonna be honest. I had a struggle waking up on time for this. Like, I fell asleep around 4 a.m. and I just wanted to relax. And then I woke up at like 11 and didn't want to get out of bed. I was too cozy. And then I basically had like an hour to like turn on my computer, make sure that it was running fine and everything. I don't think I actually like opened up OBS and YouTube Studio until like 5 minutes before streaming. I was just so cozy. Fuck, I have work tomorrow. I have to go back to the academy. And then I have to stay late at the academy for esports. Ah! It's okay. Wednesday, I'll have a nice comfy stream, and then I'll vanish from everyone's minds for the following week, because I will be on a plane. I'll be on a plane, and then I'll be in another city, and then I'll be back a week later. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. We'll take a sippy. Alright, Vestox, let's see how Vestox's year is gonna go. Okay. I mean, that's one thing. That is the certified Elliot Ambers I'm not gonna sugarcoat it moment. It's not the worst outcome. It's a little bit of bad luck, but it's not the worst luck. It's the star in reverse, which means that this is a very confusing year to navigate. You know, it feels like there might have been a way that was very clear. There might have been something that you wanted to do, a path that you wanted to follow, but things seem a lot different now. Things might have changed since you last made that decision, and it feels like you're not sure what it is that you want to do anymore, kind of thing. In regards to collaboration, in regards to working with other people, though, it seems pretty positive, at the very least. It seems that when it comes to connecting with others, when it comes to working with others, that you have a very good outlook on that. It's the Four of Wands, which is a very celebratory card. So, in regards to collaborating with other people, it seems that that's going to go well, at least. Socially, you'll be pretty fine, you know, interacting with other people doesn't seem like it'll be any sort of a problem. In terms of your career, in terms of the work that you do, also seems pretty positive. You know, we have the Chariot. You'll be able to take more of a handle on the work that you're doing. You have more control over what it is. You know, whether it's you getting more used to your work, or, you know, just things going well at your job. You'll feel like you're going to be in a state of flow going through things. Things will just kind of not be that much of a challenge moving forward. Or even if they are, you'll feel equipped to deal with those challenges as they come up. In terms of health, we have a pretty positive card here. We have the Six of Pentacles. It tells me that you won't be needing for much in terms of health this year. Like, you know, it's a card of generosity, of giving to others. It might mean that, you know, you don't have to worry about yourself as much, so you'll be able to help care for others. Overall, it doesn't seem like your health is going to be in a very negative state. It seems like when we think about how the star appeared in reverse here, a lot of things that, you know, seem to be underlying issues might be doubts about how to move forward. But, you know, moving forward and doing things in the moment are two different things. Like, sometimes, even if we're not sure about what we're doing, we still do it and we still go through the motions of our work, even if we're not sure if it's what we want to continue doing. And now we have a card that sort of relates to the center card now. We have the Nine of Swords, which is a card of confusion, a card of despair, a card of, like, uncertainty as well. And when it comes to money, it's sort of this idea of, you know, do you want to keep on sticking to what you're doing in order to get the money that you get, right? Do you want to, is how you're doing this, like, really what you want to do? Like, maybe, I don't know what it is, what kind of job that you work, or how you get your money, but there might be some kind of concern or some kind of, you know, realization that you make, and that might be the dilemma that we encounter relating these two cards together. In terms of gambling, in terms of taking risks, oh wow, it's saying to go buck wild, I guess. We have the not the sixth card is the Ace of Cups. So it seems like if there's risks that you want to take, if there's things that appear in front of you, if there's challenges that appear that seem a little risky, no, you're still on the list, Sleipnir. You are 2 away right now. So good timing. I'll actually move you to the top of the list because I've been doing that for anyone who's appeared in the chat. But yeah, the Ace of Cups is a card that represents, you know, flowing creativity, emotional energy, and that kind of stuff. And it seems like a very positive card when it comes to taking risks, that your risks won't be too dangerous, or that even if they are dangerous, that you'll come out better in the end with them. It's very much telling you, gamble, 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 play gotcha, play gotcha. Interesting. What we have as the final card is the Sun in reverse. Interesting that both the Sun and the stars are in reverse positions here. A lot of the reading seems positive. But with the Sun here in reverse, you know, the Sun, typically, it's a card of, like, brightness, of positivity and joy. It's a sign that is, you know, it's very much of good tidings coming ahead. But seeing the Sun in reverse here is this idea that, you know, even if things surrounding you might be very good, it's easy to get into your own head. You want to try to avoid, you know, like, I think, like, just talking with other people, you know, it says, like, with your collaboration, things go well there. You might want to just interact and talk with people more if you feel like you're having trouble with things. If you feel like you get in your own head, if you feel worried about yourself, it might be helpful to, you know, talk to other people and sort of, you know, not have your own internal monologue be the only thing that you rely on. So that's my reading for you, Vestox. Overall, it seems like there's a lot of good things to come, but there's a lot of uncertainty following along as well. That's my reading for you, Vestox, and we'll get to Sleipnir next. Dang, I can't believe I missed one timing off. I was hoping that anyone that popped in would get their reading done live. I messed it up. I fucked up. Near. Got the ball, man. Orb. Robot orb. Save this and clear these all out. 3, 5, 7, and then we got Vestox. We only have 5 more readings to go. I can't believe we have almost finished this list here. I'm actually so happy. I'm very proud of myself for getting through this a little bit faster than I thought I would. Ooh, big orb, because Jodi's icon was so small. Sleipnir at the top, just so it says Sleipnir. So 5 readings to go, and we are roughly at the 3-hour mark. We'll probably be able to be done before the 4-hour mark. Not too bad, not too bad. I guess for some people, like, if people aren't there, it's a little bit easier for me to just plow through a reading without them, like, having any input. Okay. Let me just roll a little bit more. Then, whoop. All right. Alright, let's do this. Let's get this done. We have the cards here. I like put the deck down and didn't actually lay the cards out. Very good. I should do that before I say let's get this started. Okay. We have the overall card is represented for your Sleipnir with. Okay. A familiar face. He's appeared during the stream in the same position before. We have... Where are you? We have the Hierophant, which gives an indicator that this year is going to be not too different from past years. Very much maintaining how things are. If, you know, if your past years were pretty good, or if you've enjoyed your past years, this isn't a bad thing. It's just things, keeping things the way they are. Sometimes it's comforting. Sometimes it's nice to just keep things going the way they were going. That doesn't mean that there won't be any changes, because for collaboration, we have Death here, which is like the card to represent changes. It's very interesting to see a card like two cards like this juxtaposed together, one representing maintaining the status quo while one talking about massive change. So, despite how you do things, there might be a way, you might look at how you sort of interact with other people, how you collaborate with other people, and try to change up how it is that you either approach or get approached by people. You know, sometimes, you know, the way that we interact with people, we want to evaluate how it is that we talk and change exactly how we, you know, interact, and that's not a strange thing. It's pretty normal, honestly. So that seems to be, when it comes to collaborating with others, that might be something that'll be happening, is that you might just change your approach and how you talk with others. In regards to your career, you have the Page of Pentacles. He's just a silly little guy with a funny little coin. In regards to your career, it's just a sign that things will be going lightly, you know. It makes sense with the Hierophant here as well, like these two together. Things will just kind of just stay as they are. It's not going to be any big changes, but, you know, you'll get paid, you'll do your work, and things will be fine. The Page of Pentacles doesn't really sign towards anything necessarily extravagant or big. He's just, you know, a representation of earning your keep, doing what you gotta do, and pentacles obviously are just a representation, a symbol of that kind of material value. In regards to health, we have strength in reverse. And, you know, strength is a card that represents, you know, having that kind of emotional or willpower to deal with things. Seeing strength in reverse for health might mean that in terms of your willpower or willingness to deal with issues that crop up, you might not have that kind of resolve. You know, some people like have issues with their health and then just don't do anything for years because they just don't want to go see a doctor. That's sort of what I'm seeing here, but try to do your best to take care of yourself so that, you know, you don't have to go to the doctor. Yeah, time to go. Exactly. That's sort of the idea that I'm getting from health. Whether or not you need to go to the doctor, try. It seems like there's going to be a bit of resistance to doing things for your health like that. In terms of money, again, it seems like a year of gain, I guess I would say. We have the Knight of Wands. You know, the Knight of Wands is a very grounded figure. He knows what he needs. He knows how to stay stable. He knows how to stay, you know, down to earth. And he's constantly moving forward. Combine that with the Page of Pentacles and the Hierophant, and you get just someone who just keeps on doing their job, you know, just rising up on the pay scale by virtue of, you know, continuing to do the same work. It seems like things will be going... A lot of it just symbols towards the natural progression of keeping things the same. In terms of taking risks, we have... Oh, it's all in, baby. Oh, you gotta... if you see an opportunity there, you gotta take it. We got the world here. So the world right side up. In terms of risk-taking, it means that there might be a pretty major decision to make. It's interesting seeing both the world and death in the same reading. You know, a massive change and, you know, finality, right? The world typically represents the end of a journey. It represents the end of some kind of adventure. I think when it comes to taking risks, this means that, you know, there's going to be a very important decision for you to make, and that decision sort of will mark the end of a chapter in your life. And, you know, that's not mutually exclusive to saying things will stay the same with the Hierophant, but rather it might be the culmination of things, and then you'll be presented with a decision that you'll have to make, you know, with how you've been going through your life. And you just want to make sure that, you know, it's an important decision and that you weigh on that a bit. This is also very interesting, actually. This one connects, I think, the most to the collaboration card. We have the Three of Hearts in reverse for your advice, which the Three of Hearts is a card that represents, you know, a betrayal or broken trusts. And I think it's just that idea that, you know, if you do find that things that were staying the same, you know, by staying the same, you know, relationships or trusts might have been broken, then I think the change in how you approach interacting with others might not be a bad idea. You know, sometimes it just, you learn too late that you need to change how you do things, but, you know, it's alright for sometimes relationships to go south, go under, and it's not a bad thing if things don't work out. So it's just important to make sure that, to be prepared for that to happen if it does. Welcome, Melt Like Butter. I hope you're doing well. Glad to see you stopping by. Sorry, I've been going through a queue of tarot readings to do. It was somewhere about 20 tarot readings. The list that you see now are people who all asked for a reading yesterday. I stream tarot readings every 2 weeks, so while I won't be able to do a reading for you now, I will definitely be able to do a reading for you in about 2 weeks. I apologize, though. Normally I wouldn't turn down people asking to get readings, but we've been going on 3 hours from now, and I do want to make sure that I can be done before the 4th hour, so I apologize that I am not able to do a reading. Normally I have a hard time saying no, but it's one of those, this is the last day before I have to go back to the academy. I want to make sure that I have enough time after stream to sort of unwind. I did this to myself, though. You know, it's not really an Elliot Amber stream if I don't inflict some kind of hubris onto myself. But yeah, I don't have a set day that I do it, but typically every 2 weeks I do some kind of a tarot stream. Yeah, these readings are more like general New Year's readings, as opposed to, you know, the typical, like, give me a question and I will answer it with the cards kind of reading. So I apologize for the inconvenience. Maybe when I do the tarot reading in 2 weeks from now, maybe I'll leave the New Year's reading redeem up so that if anyone wanted one of those, they can still get it. But then I'll also have the other kinds of readings up as well. Alright. With that out of the way, Heads or Tails 2023 is going to be your year. Heads or Tails, I don't have the coin. Wait. Let me see. Alright. Heads or Tails? Also, welcome, I hope you're doing well. Heads or Tails? Heads, it's good. Tails, it's bad. I lost it. It's Tails. I'm sorry, Cab. You're going to die. No problem, Sleipnir. Okay. That being said, we'll shuffle this deck, and we'll do a reading for Naomi, who stopped by earlier. I don't know if I'll ever see her again. The reading, quote-unquote. Alright. Let's see. Atari. Do they have a Twitch icon? Do they have a Twitch icon? Do I use the blank face again? Let's also clear this out. That sure is anime characters. I don't know what anime characters these are. But let's save it as. Here, we'll put it here and Twitch. There we go. There we go. See a face in that, sort of. let's do this. Shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And let's see. It's always weird doing ones, like, I guess I feel like weird doing readings for people I know and also people I don't know. For people I know, it feels like I might be a little bit biased because I know them, and then for people I don't know, it's like, how do I present information to you with any sort of accuracy if I don't know anything about your life? Alright. Actually, before I do this one, I laid the cards out, but I'm going to take a quick idle break. I do need to use the bathroom. I've been sitting here for 3 hours. Be right back, everyone. Boo. Good evening, everyone. I am back. Is it evening yet? 4:03. Do we consider that the evening? Is that still afternoon? I don't know. I feel like it's a weird... I feel like 4 to 5 p.m. is like this weird limbo that's like between afternoon and nighttime. Like, I think that's evening, right? Anyway, let's do this reading for Miss Naomi. So, Naomi, we have a bit of a subdued reading here. Thank you, thank you. So for this reading here, we have the Six of Wands. Hey Bunzel, welcome. I'll do your reading next since you just popped in. I've been putting people forward as they appear in the chat. I've only had one person pop in after I've done their reading so far. It made sense because I struggled with isolating. Yeah, no problem, Gunpai. I'm glad the reading helped. So, what we have for you, Naomi, is the Six of Wands in reverse. Actually, wait, Bunzel is next up anyway. That's some good timing. So this is a card that represents, typically it represents celebration. And with the celebration, it's in reverse, so it's more that a year of personal victories as opposed to, a year of, being celebrated outwardly. Sometimes we have to take the little victories that we can, the victories, of our own self. Not everything has to be a big celebration. Interesting, because that goes pretty well with the next card up, which is the Seven of Wands. And when it comes to collaborating with others, when it comes to working together with others, you might find yourself at a bit of a defense here, that you have to be a bit more defensive with the people reaching out to you. You might feel like, you know, not like backstabbing or anything, but you might feel like there's a lot of struggle and a lot of conflict ahead in order for you to sort of collaborate and work with people the way that you would like to be able to. And, you know, that's rough sometimes when it's, like, harder for you to be able to interact because there's, like, a lot of things going on or a lot of things popping up in your way. In regards to your career, we have Page of Wands. So despite, you know, the struggle, there's a lot of wands here. It's a very grounded reading. You know, with the wands, they're very much symbols of, you know, being down to earth, being more understanding and more stable in our existence here. And the Page of Wands here in the career section gives me more of the idea that, you know, you're more or less grounded where you're at. You're not in a bad position necessarily, but you're not going to be, like, moving a lot anywhere. You'll find your success, you'll find your celebrations in what you're doing, but it's not going to be anything giant or major this year. It's going to be a little bit more low-key. That's card 4. Card 4 is Two of Wands. This is very wand heavy. I feel like this is the first time I've seen 4 of the same suit in a row on these New Year's readings. Back here. Get back here. Stop flying away. Very windy room today, I suppose. But the Two of Wands is a card that symbolizes waiting. It's a card that symbolizes, you know, patience, having expectations, but knowing that there's a bit of delay or a bit of time that you have to wait in order to get what you want. When we think about this in terms of health, there's this idea that, you know, sometimes if you fall ill, if your health isn't in the best condition, sometimes the best thing to do is to just wait it out, you know? Sometimes just waiting or expecting things to come is really all you need to do, just having patience. You did your fortune scrying? Oh, did you? Oh, you did a scrying. That's always pretty cool. I don't have a scrying orb myself. I know Zia does. I think she's talked about doing it with an orb. In terms of money, we have the moon in reverse. And so the moon typically is a card of uncertainty in and of itself. It sort of feels like the reverse of the star, honestly. And just like the reverse of the star, reversing the reverse of the star, it's sort of like lighting a path forward. With money, in regards to the moon in reverse, it's sort of this idea that you might have found uncertainty in what you wanted to do, but moving forward you feel like there might be a way forward now, that it's not as confusing, which I think is interesting because it lines up with these two cards here. It lines up with the Six of Wands in reverse along with the Page of Wands, where, you know, sometimes when you find yourself in a certain position, it takes a bit of time for you to get used to what you're doing. But once you find your groove, things start to be a lot less confusing. You use Mini Paint and Dragon Blood incense? Did you huff paint? I'm sorry, what? That's only a little concerning, but hey, whatever helps you predict the future, my buddy. Anyway, in terms of risk-taking, we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups here, in reverse, sort of, I talked about this earlier because someone else had this as well. Yeah. The vision is the ER. In reverse here, it's easy to tunnel vision, right? There's a lot of opportunities available to you, and when it's in the right side up position, it is usually what that means, that for risk-taking, you have a lot of opportunities available to you to try and take. But here it feels like when it comes to taking risks, you might find yourself tunnel visioning on one specific kind of idea, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes, you know, if you're very dedicated to an idea or very invested in a decision, then you might just want to be invested in that. You might want to commit to that, and that's not a bad thing. But it's also important to try and expand your horizons, or think about what it is that you can reach out towards, what it is that you can, you know, the choices that you have at your disposal. Even if you do commit to one decision, try not to tunnel vision too hard on it without thinking about the other possibilities. And the advice card now is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So the Two of Pentacles in reverse is this idea that, you know, typically the twos all represent things being imbalanced, things being, you know, not letting things fall one side or the other. But here what I'm getting is that, you know, sometimes you do need to let yourself fall off balance. Sometimes you might need to commit to one way, which I think is interesting because of the card that we had beforehand, the, you know, the risk-taking card. I think these guys go kind of hand in hand, really. The suggestion that you might want to, you know, be a little bit more balanced, focus on certain things over others, and sort of let that help. Maybe that risk that you take there, that thing that you focus on really hard, might give you a good pathway to move forward in the future. So while, you know, you might have a bunch of personal victories this year, it seems like, you know, you just want to do your best to balance your unbalancing, as I should say. You know, sometimes when we try to live a balanced life, there are things that we have to give over others, and it's just all a very precarious balancing act. But hopefully that helps. And next up we have Bunzel. Get his avatar here. Bunzel. And we'll do this next reading. Can't believe we're almost at the end. And it's only 4:11. We could definitely get these 3 readings out before the end of the hour. Let's do this. Let's clear out the name here. And we'll adjust this. Image is too big! There's Bunzel. Your vision told you that it's near you yet to fall, but I will be tested as a man as well as your brother. You will have to stand up to where our father stepped down from. Sounds like Devil May Cry. Getting some DMC vibes from that. Alright, so let me just shuffle the deck a little bit more. Then we'll go and do Bunzel's reading. Let me also clear out these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Right. One shuffle. One bridge. Let me do that. Second one. And then we'll cut the deck. Once. Twice. How much grain of salt do we take the fortune seriously? I mean, as however seriously you want to take it, honestly. Some people really like the fortunes and like the guidance. Some people, you know, just take it with a grain of salt and think about it, and then they'll come back to me like a week later and be like, Elliot, what did you do? Elliot, what did you do? They'll be like, wait, that did make a lot of sense. At the end of your dad finally retired. Oh, I see. So yeah, that makes sense that you have to step up if your dad retired. Someone's got to make the money. Why, yes, you are very sorry, Cab. I'm sorry that your fortune did not go as well as you would have liked it to. You should have just fought fate and won. That's all I'm telling you. I'm just telling you fate. You can just fight it. Alright, okay, I'm done drinking my coffee. I had trouble socializing due to overthinking. Yeah, it's important, you know. We are social beings, so it's important to not isolate ourselves. Let me just put this here again. Sorry, Bunzel. The card that we have here right now is this one. Anyway, they're good food for thought most of the time. Makes you think what you have otherwise. Makes you think when you otherwise would have. Yeah, exactly. It gives you just things to think about, really. Oh, it's all in our minds to change everything using our own hands at it. It is, Lexter the Sad Lad. I can only just tell you what you know already. Oh, I didn't actually reveal the card. Here it is. So, the card for your year, Bunzel, is the Three of Swords. I don't know what your current situation is right now, but we actually saw this on another reading just earlier, actually. I think, at least I'm pretty sure we had Three of Swords as the center card, but the Three of Swords, as many people know, is a card of broken trusts, of broken hearts, of, betrayal. And to see that as the overall year is a very rough sign to see. I don't know who's close to you, but I guess if you keep a lot of people close to you, then, that might lessen the blow if one of people does break your trust. It's rough. It is a rough card to see as the start of the year fortune. But let's see everything surrounding it. Interesting. This is a sensible connection. In regards to your collaborations with others, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. And the Eight of Cups in reverse, can't say it's one that... that's fair. In regards to collaboration, it's this idea that, typically the Eight of Cups represents walking away, leaving things behind without looking back, things that were close to you that you don't want, that you feel bad leaving behind, but you're ready to move on from. In reverse, it's this idea that when it comes to working with other people, when it comes to collaborating with other people, there are people that you had to move away from, but there's still a lingering feeling of regret, like a desire to turn back and, pick up the things that you had to leave behind. This idea that you don't want to give up what you had to give up to move forward, which I think is a very interesting relation to the overall fortune. It's really hard when you have to move away from someone and you don't want to leave that. So that's understandable. We have for our career, well, that's a more positive sign if I've ever seen one. So, in terms of career, in terms of that kind of stuff, we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is a card that represents, obviously Pentacles are very much the manifestation, the embodiment of, physical, material wealth, money, that kind of stuff. And to see it in career implies to me that the work that you do, the things that you do as like a career, whether it's like, your own jobs, or even just like the state of your VTubing and stuff like that, it's a signal that things will go well on this front at the very least, whether it's, a career going well or, just finding more opportunities, more things to do as within the VTubing scene. It's a very good sign at the very least. Yeah, Meadow. I think it's a pretty bad place to see it. I know you had the Three of Swords in the money tile yourself. But as far as health goes, I mean, I guess this isn't bad, actually. Like, we always joke about the tower, but then we see the tower come and we're like, oh, I'm not laughing anymore. I'm not laughing. But no, we have the tower in reverse. And the thing about the tower in reverse is that it's more of this idea that, there were things that happened in your past that in regards to your health, but this is sort of the fallout of that. You're sort of dealing or spending the time this year kind of dealing with the fallout of what happened with your health, sort of a recovery period, moving on from what happened and dealing with that in a way that helps you heal. So there might have been things in the past that really mess with you health-wise that seem to be recovering, or this is the year that, you can take the steps better to sort of make a better recovery. With money, also interesting. It seems that we have the Two of Cups, which when I see this in the money position, I always think of it as like business partners as a kind of thing. The Two of Cups is a sign of, of partnership. It's similar to the Three of Cups in the sense of unity, but in this one it's more you and someone else specifically, like working together. And seeing that in the money position means that, I don't know, you guys work together to sort of find that kind of wealth and fortune. In terms of gambling, in terms of taking risks, I see that we have the Eight of Swords, which I think also displays a pretty clear message here. which that message being there might be a fear of taking risks that you have. You know, like, you want to be safe, you want to play things safe, you don't want to really stray too far away for fear of hurting yourself. And that's understandable. You want, sometimes, you know, we would rather live our lives more collected, more calculated, rather than risking things and doing things that might, you know, mess us up or cause us to lose more. It's easier to be safe than to take big risks, and that's sort of the idea I'm getting here for the year, is that you might be more of a risk-averse kind of person this year. Now, in terms of advice, you know what? It's interesting how, like, this is kind of the opposite of some readings where, like, you get a really good center card and then all the other cards are, like, warnings. This one is, like, a warning in the center with good signs surrounding it. Because what we have at the end here is the World. And, you know, the World is a card that represents endings. It represents finding, you know, finding closure, being able to sort of, you know, deal with things. And I think it's interesting because the Three of Swords representing that kind of heartbreak and that kind of, you know, loss of trust or loss, being advised by the World is this idea that sometimes, you know, things end up poorly and things, you know, there's a lot of hurt that goes into that. It's not easy when we, like, lose someone close to us or when we feel that trust broken. But the World seems to be serving as a sign that it could be more like a closing of a chapter, that, you know, moving on from one person to another, or just that trust being broken, or, you know, the friendship ending could just be a sign to move on to newer pastures. And I think these two connecting as that kind of advice can allow us to sort of get to these positions here, this, you know, the career blossoming and finding, you know, someone who can help you work on that sort of money. And then we also have, like, the Eight of Swords here representing, you know, the fear of taking risks. That might also be connected here. But I think the big takeaway is just that to not dwell too hard on the loss. Obviously, I'm not going to say not to dwell on it, but to see it more as the start of a new beginning instead of something to only just grieve. So that's my reading for you, Bunzel. Hope it helps. And next we have Savvy. Savvy Avenue. Get that puppet boy. For 5, 7. No problem. Let me just shuffle the deck. We have 2 more readings to do. We got Savvy and then we'll go and find someone to raid. Let's just get this funny little guy here. Let's put Savvy on. I think he's having a model reveal soon too. I think he's getting a new 3D model, which is going to be pretty nice to see. I love his design though. I love the whole, like, Sesame Street reject concept. Okay. Also, his design definitely screams like how like Kermit sings, like, Rainbow Connection, and then how it was covered by this, like, weird rock band. He definitely looks like someone who would cover Mountain Goat songs. Like, if there was a character design that would just sing the Mountain Goats on Sesame Street, it's Savvy. Okay. End of the line. 2 more readings. Shuffle them up. Then we'll get started. There we go. And one last. There we go. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Now let's see what the cards have to say about Savvy Avenue. Let's see. Got... Okay. A very active year for him. Very this is a year of taking action, it looks like. We have the Knight of Swords. This is, you know, a sharp mind charging ahead, knowing that there's something that he wants to do, and by God, he's gonna do it. Also, let me update the name list. So that is how this year is gonna go. It's a year of forward motion. In terms of collaboration, seems like it's gonna go pretty well in that front. In terms of working with other people, we have the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is a time, again, of celebration, of, you know, gatherings, of being at peace, being comfortable. You know, there's a lot of cards like that, but the Ten of Pentacles very much is just a very calm card. Similar to how, like, the Nine of Pentacles is a card of a woman, like, sort of relaxing, resting in a garden. This is more, instead of just you resting on your own, it's very much just being able to celebrate and cherish what you have. It's card of like strengthening the friendships and the bonds that you currently have, I would say. In terms of career, it is very much a year of learning. We have the Three of Pentacles right side up, which I think is the first time we've seen it right side up this stream. So in terms of growing in your career, we have the Three of Pentacles, which is a card, you know, you can see that there are two people on the floor, one person standing up at the window. It's a card that symbolizes mentorship. It's a card that symbolizes growing through learning from, you know, people who are learned. So an improvement based on, you know, following what others have done seems to be what's going to happen here. Oh, fuck me, I guess. Card 4 for health is the Ten of Swords. This guy's got 10 swords stabbed into his back. You better watch out, buddy. It looks like it might be a little rough here. Try not to let that happen to you. This should not be a puppet on the ground. But no, seriously, it's the Ten of Swords in the health position is just a warning that, you know, there might be some rough times ahead in regards to your health. And the best thing to do is to fight through it, essentially, not to... It's like obvious advice, honestly, but just, it's a warning that something rough might be coming this year. In terms of career, in terms of money, we have Page of Wands. So I think it's really interesting here, because career and money are pretty closely intertwined with one another. So what I get with career is that it's one of those things where, you know, you're able to follow along and learn from a mentor. But with the money, the Page of Wands, it's sort of this idea that when it comes to finances and funds, you know, you're doing a lot of learning, but it still doesn't feel like you're able to be very stable in where you're at. You know, being good at your job and also getting paid a lot of money are not always correlated, and that might be the sort of indicator here that things might be rough financially ahead. It'd be hard to sort of find a footing, unfortunately. Even if you know what you gotta do, sometimes what you gotta do isn't always the end-all be-all. In terms of taking risks, we have Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords in reverse. It's a card very much warning you about taking risks, that this is a very precarious situation, that, you know, the risks, the paths ahead of you are very dangerous and fraught with a lot of, you know, well, I'm trying to think of a word without saying danger again. But it's dangerous, it's risky, it's not a safe situation. It's a warning that, you know, make sure that you don't put yourself in these situations where the risks are very high. I think this is a year to play it very, very, very safe. And as far as the advice is, we have the Ten of Cups, which goes pretty well with the Ten of Pentacles as well. These are very similar in meaning. You know, celebration with people, happiness, cherishing the people you have. I think just, you know, the community around you is a very important part of what it is that you're doing. I think that's going to be a lot of what helps push you through going forward. It's also important to note that there's 3 10s listed in this reading, which is pretty pretty interesting, given that we've only pulled 7 cards and, you know, there's only 4 10s in the entire deck. And 10s typically signify the end of a journey. So it might also mean that with this year, moving forward, you know, the advance of the Knight of Swords, that you might find yourself at the end of an important milestone in your life. So make sure you enjoy and cherish the times that you have with the people, and make sure that you keep yourself safe so that you don't end up like the guy in the Ten of Swords. Alright. And that leaves us with one last reading. One last reading, and then we'll probably find someone to read into. So let me shuffle this down one last time, and then we will go and read for Katie. Or for Cat is Bad at Video Games, the Cat Hag. The Caddy. Sounds like Martini. That might be the joke, actually. Go. One last read. Let's see. This. And then I'll be done with all the New Year's readings. What a long stream. Always nice to see everyone come out to see how their year will go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So Katie's year is marked with the... Oh, not a bad reading. Very nice reading for the last reading of the year. We have the Magician. Where is the Magician? The Magic Man himself. I like your funny words, Mr. Magic Man. So the Magician is a card that represents that this is a year of, you know, building up your energy, just, you know, channeling your power and sort of getting what you want, essentially. That you're taking the steps to sort of hit your goals. It's a very much a card that represents power. It's a card that represents, you know, ambition and getting to your goals. In regards to collaboration, you have a pretty positive card in the Six of Wands. This time it's right side up, which is just, you know, people will be happy to collaborate with you. People will be happy to, you know, cheer you on and work with you. And there's not really much to say about that. It's a very clear card there with the celebration going on. In terms of career, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, which, that's the last one. You've made it to the last one. The Page of Pentacles in reverse in the career tile is a pretty precarious card, I would say, I guess. Because, you know, the Page of Pentacles typically is a card that represents, you know, getting, you know, just doing your work, a messenger of money, that kind of stuff. But in reverse, it might mean that in regards to your career, that kind of thing, those kind of material things might be a little harder to continue getting, right? I don't know about how your career is going, how your job is going, but it seems like things are a bit more turbulent this year, or uncertain, I guess I should say, in regards to career prospects. Not bad, but a little rough. In terms of health, have 7 of Swords in reverse. You know, we saw this earlier at right side up, but in reverse, it's more of a very honest card. It's more of a, or I guess not honest, but like more of a exposed in 4K kind of card. So it's this idea that, you know, there are times where you might end up feeling sick, and, you know, instead of trying to like hide it from people, it's just a time to be very open about how bad you're feeling. And, you know, sometimes people can help you if you're not feeling the greatest. Sometimes people will be able to give you help in whatever ways they can. And it seems like this year is going to be one where, you know, when you do find yourself in rough times, people will probably be able to pick up on it, and it's not going to be something that you try to hide. So, you know, take care of yourself, and if you're not feeling well, I'm sure you'll let people know that you're not feeling well, that you'll have tummy hort, and you'll be so brave about it. What we have for money is the King of Wands in reverse. So the King of Wands in reverse, you know, the king is typically a very stable figure. A king knows and leads by authority. He knows what to do. But in reverse, it's this idea in regards to money that things are very uncertain, which I guess also lines up with the career card. You know, sometimes you don't know exactly what you're gonna do, how things are gonna go, so it's best to just keep on living. It's just best to keep on doing your best and trying to, you know, keep on doing your best to search for something new, I guess. Search for something that really works out for you. For gambling, for risk-taking, when it comes to taking risks, it seems like this is a message to be a little bit more patient, right? There might be some risks that you take that might not pay off right away, might not be instantly noticeable in how they work out, but it's this idea that when you go for risks, not everything will happen instantly. Sometimes you do need to wait a little bit of time, and it's just saying to be patient, not to not take risks, but to wait until the right time to take the right risk. As far as advice goes, we have the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups is, you know, a messenger again. It's a more passive voice compared to like the Knights, but it's just a sign of, you know, creative energy. You know, use that creativity and sort of help that plan how you go through the year. You know, the Magician is a sign of channeling power, and it seems like you won't have for any shortage of, you know, interacting with people and being friendly with other people in that sort of way. And just use that sort of energy, that sort of community, and that sort of your own creative power to sort of help propel you through this year and help you, you know, further yourself. That's my reading for you, Katie. And with that, it seems that we have read for everyone that asked yesterday. So, I think we should use this time to go and find someone to raid. We did it. Oh, we did it. We have done all the readings. Alright. Now let's see who is online. Thank you for all the wiggles and cheers and head pat. Let's go and... let's go and raid you. I feel like it's late where Katie is at. I would say raided her. Oh, you know what? She goes on for a bit longer than I usually think, so we're gonna go and raid into Katie since we just finished doing. Oh my god. Oh, okay, no. I think she's still online. Yeah, I think she's still online. I don't think she's going offline. She's been at it for 3 hours, but I think it would be fun to raid into the person we did the final reading for. So we're going to raid into Katie at Games. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday for some Minish Cap, and then I'll disappear for a bit. But I will still try to get a good amount of streams in next week as well. I tried to at least get 3 streams in a week, so I think I should still be able to do that. Alright, so let's go and raid into Katie. I hope you guys have a wonderful start to your years, and I'll see you guys all on Wednesday. But until then, class is dismissed.